"Boss, is this made with that markless glass light? So fast." Shadowless felt the new flying god artifact Yemo made and gasped. Not only Shadowless but small Ginseng and Qiu Rang also excitedly felt around the new flying god artifact. They wanted Yemo to say he would go into solitary cultivation again and leave them to play with this flying god artifact. "That's right, this will be called MOU boat from now on." Yemo was extremely happy with this. This was the best magic artifact he had made, and it was an extreme-grade flying god artifact. There were many extreme-grade flying god artifacts, but the difference was huge. His space-time boat was upgraded from low-grade flying god artifact. Although it used many of Yemo's materials, its quality wasn't very good. It was rather bad amongst extreme-grade flying god artifact. Compared to MOU boat, it was heavens apart. Yemo made MOU boat personally, and he inscribed every formation on it. Whether it was material or formation, it was the best. Markless glass light had this special property, and that was passing through realm barriers. If you had enough power, you don't even need tearing formation. You could just use markless glass light to pass realm. Those weaker people could markless glass light to cross realm too. Yemo only noticed this property when he was forging. Markless glass light could pass through the highest level void barrier. This made Yemo overjoyed. Yemo used MOU boat for less than a month, and the Guangyuan Palace on the location orb cleared up. Yemo knew that he was at Guangyuan Palace. He let Shadowless enter the Golden Page world. Xiao, he was murderous and cold, but Yemo trusted this person would keep his word. So, Yemo never went back to the Divine Dao realm and came straight to the Guangyuan Palace. When MOU passed through a region of space and clouds, Guangyuan Palace appeared before him. Yemo thought Guangyuan Palace was a place so it wouldn't be too huge. When he saw the immense heaven domain before him, he immediately knew this place was far from what he imagined. Guangyuan Palace was not only big but also had quite some people. Yemo scanned with his spirit sense and found there were millions of people. There were all sorts of races here. A palace was floating in the middle of this heaven domain. Below the palace was clouds. Yemo immediately guessed that this was Guangyuan Palace. He had seen many palaces, but Guangyuan Palace seemed like an immortal palace the most. Yemo stood before the defense formation of the heaven domain. He didn't go in. If he forcefully entered, it would be considered provocation. Yemo didn't wait for long, and an immortal monarch flew out of the realm and stood before the realm protection formation, asking Yemo, "May I ask what business does a mortal friend have at Guangyuan Palace?" He could tell Yemo was much stronger than him, but he still called Yemo a mortal friend. One could see how confident Guangyuan Palace was. "I'm Qiao He's friend. I was invited by him to come concoct pills for young mistress." Yemo saluted with his fists. Hearing this, the immortal monarch asked in shock, "You're a pill divine? You're going to concoct pills for the young mistress?" Yemo said again, "You heard right. I'm a pill divine. Specifically, immortal friend Qiao invited me over for pill concoction." This immortal monarch quickly apologized and asked, "Why isn't divine he back?" Yemo took out the jade slip Qiao he left for him and said, "This is left by immortal friend Qiao. Have a look." Qiao He's jade slip was to introduce Yemo and say that he wouldn't be able to come back yet. This immortal monarch looked at the jade slip and then quickly took out a jade card opening the formation. "So your pill divine Yi, please come in." Yemo went in and asked, "You know me?" The immortal monarch quickly said, "Divine," he already said in the jade slip, and the Guangyuan Palace have long heard of pill divine Ye's name, the number 1 pill divine. Palace Lord just finished solitary cultivation and went to the void marketplace to invite pill divine Yi. However, pill divine Yi came to our Guangyuan Palace instead. "I'll immediately report to the Palace Lord." Yemo nodded and said, "When you send a message, say I can't stay for long. Please come back quickly." Since the Palace Lord wasn't here, he wouldn't be able to concoct pills. As soon as this immortal monarch brought Yemo to the entrance of the palace, he was stopped by a green-robed young girl. The immortal monarch quickly bowed. "Liang Kai, greet young mistress." The young girl said calmly, "Liang Kai, this is pill divine Yi, right? I'll greet him personally. You go do your things first." "Yes, young mistress." The immortal monarch quickly retreated. Emo noticed this girl. She had no essence chi wave. Her face was a bit pale. The hand she showed was extremely white too. One can even see her veins. Her forehead was a little wider than ordinary girls, but her eyes were extremely bright. Her long eyelash moved gently as though they could speak. To be specific, she wasn't an extremely pretty woman, but she was very pleasant to look at. She had this calm and gentle chi about her. Someone who had never cultivated but could make people feel this was definitely a kind heart person. From the news Liang Kai just sent, he said that Pill Divine Yi came just to concoct pills for Nianyan. Nianyan is very grateful. My dad isn't in the palace. Pill Divine Yi, please follow me. The young girl bowed to Emo and spoke very politely. Emo followed Nianyan into the depth of the Guangyuan Palace. He could tell on the way that there were extremely powerful formations everywhere. Even a Dao Essence peak stage would soon be trapped by formation without Nianyan leading the way. Nianyan hadn't cultivated before, but she spoke like the spring wind. Even Emo felt it was relaxing to talk to such a girl. Emo thought Nianyan would take him to the guest room, but instead Nianyan took him to a girl's bedroom. Without a doubt, it was her room. When Emo saw Nianyan's room, he realized. There was no intimate feminine feel about her room. All there were just books. These books were all made with the thinnest heavenworm silk. Each book was extremely thick. Emo scanned with his spirit sense. There were all sorts of books here: medicine, pill concoction, formation, forgery, cultivation method. There were even ordinary immortal novels. Nianyan's soul was crippling, so she couldn't cultivate nor have spirit sense. Emo didn't feel strange that the books she read weren't made with jade slip. However, he didn't get why Nianyan read all these books when she couldn't cultivate. I can't cultivate. When Dad and all my friends start cultivate, all that can keep me company are my books. This is my book room and also my friend. Every book here is my friend. They've kept me company until one day that I die, Nianyan said calmly. She smiled as though not worrying for her sickness at all. Emo suddenly felt sympathetic towards Nianyan. It was very normal for someone who couldn't cultivate to live on Earth, but here, it was too unbearable. Everyone around her was cultivating, only she couldn't. She didn't even have anything to talk with others. If this only lasted a few days it was fine, but it lasted years. This loneliness and boredom could kill people. Nianyan could sit here and calmly talk to him and introduce him to her friends. Shocked Emo. How lonely was a person who could only be friends with books? Actually, I really want to cultivate big god arts like others and then travel the cosmos and fly in the void. Nianyan's eyes were full of hope. Emo felt touched and said, "Don't worry. Since I'm here, I will definitely help you concoct the shaking light soul pill and cure your condition." Emo was quite confident with this. Nianyan shook her head. "Brother Yi, you're older than me, so I'll call you Big Brother. In fact, no one can concoct the shaking light soul pill as the pill recipe is incomplete." Emo looked at Nianyan in shock. He knew there was a problem with the recipe because he was a top pill divine and had 3 birth chant to help him derive. However, how did Nianyan know the pill recipe was incomplete? Since she knew, the Guangyuan Palace Lord definitely knew too. Why was he still looking for pill divines to concoct the pill? Is it Guangyuan Palace Lord Feng Guang immortal friend ahead? A gray flying ship just came to the outskirts of the Void Marketplace and was stopped by a man on an immortal ship. At the same time, an extremely fast golden ship came across the void. 4 men sat on the golden ship. If it was some ordinary immortal ship, there was no way the gray ship would stop. But when the man above the gray ship noticed the 4 people on the golden ship, he immediately stopped and saluted with his fists. "So it's immortal friend Ao, Zhuge, Wan and Pu. This is really coincidental. Feng Guang just wanted to leave the Void Marketplace and I encountered you guys." Feng Guang was busy before and was unable to come to Ao Shi immortal friend's primordial essence ceremony. "Please forgive me, immortal friend Ao Shi." These 4 were Ao Shi, Wen Deshui, Pu Yangxi and Zhuge Zhichen. The 4 had agreed to search for Yemo's news at the Void Marketplace. If there was no news of him, they would go to the winged race. Even if Tsang Luo deigned come out, they would force Tsang Luo to come out. The Chaos Green Lotus was no small matter. There was no way they would give up on it. They didn't contact Len Shuachi. Tang Tsongyin and Zhao Dan because they felt they were closer to Yi Moao. She quickly said, "How do I dare to blame immortal friend Fengguang? Immortal friend Fengguang is alone in the Guangyuan Palace. It's natural that you have a lot of things to handle. Long time no see, Palace Lord. Since we happen to meet today, why don't we go get a drink at the Void Marketplace together?" Zhuge Zhichen got up and smiled. Fengguang said with trouble, "If it was before, Fengguang would definitely go, but today I really do have an emergency. I believe you all know about my daughter. There's a pill divine headed towards the Guangyuan Palace today. I have to go back." Pill divine for pill concoction? Is it number 1 pill divine Yimo from the Void Marketplace? Zhuge Zhichen's eyes lit up and asked. Fengguang nodded. "That's right, it's pill divine Yi. Does immortal friend Zhuge know pill divine Yi too?" Zhuge Zhichen glanced at the other three. Their faces were full of joy. Zhuge Zhichen saluted with his fists. "Palace Lord, we want to go have a look at Guangyuan Palace. Of course, if Palace Lord joins us, we would have more confidence." Ninian looked at Yi most shocked glance and said softly, "Brother Yi doesn't believe what I said? I have Brother Yi is the number 1 pill divine of the Void Marketplace. Your understanding of pill Dao must be extremely high, but what I'm saying is the truth. I won't lie to Brother Yi." Yimo nodded. "Sister Ninian, tell me about it." He was already a bit suspicious of Fengguang. Ninian sighed. "The recipe seems complete, but it's actually lacking a very important thing, and that is life force. No matter how precious the shaking light herb is, it can't be forged into the shaking light soul pill without life force." Yimo was shocked at how smart Ninian was. Although she didn't understand what life force was missing, but just knowing this was already shocking enough. She couldn't cultivate, so she learned all this from the books and derived it herself. He had vindicated Dao and focused on pill concoction and also used 3 birth chant to derive this. Compared to her, he was far off. Ninian only knew that life force was lacking. She didn't know it was chaos life force that was lacking. Ninian saw Yimo stay silent and said, "My dad cultivated 3 shaking light herbs. He invited 2 of the most renowned pill divines to concoct the shaking light soul pill, but they all failed." Ninian seemed sad, and then she said, "My dad is a pill concoction divine emperor. I already told him when I realized that life force was lacking. However, my dad loves me too much and still invited the 2 pill divines over. When they were about done, my dad pulled out their life force and threw it into the cauldron." Yimo realized. Guangyuan Palace Lord wanted to use the pill divine's life force. However, he didn't know that only chaos life force could be fused into the pill. Thinking about this, Yimo suddenly felt wrong. If Guangyuan Palace Lord didn't know it was chaos life force that was missing, he wouldn't use the pill divine's life force. He would grab a few random people and pull out their life force. When pill divines were concocting the pill, their mind was fused with the pill, so using this life force would be better than ordinary life force. From this, it was quite possible that the Guangyuan Palace Lord knew chaos life force was missing. He couldn't get it and thus had no choice but to replace it with pill divine life force. However, the 2 before failed. "Brother Yi, you should leave quickly. My dad will be back soon. He's worried about me," and set up a 1-use long-distance teleportation formation. Ninian saw Yimo fall silent and seemed to understand what she said. Yimo was in extreme conflict. Should he help her concoct pill? She was such a kind woman. If he didn't do it for her, he would feel really annoyed. However, that Guangyuan Palace was no nice person. Then, Ninian seemed to have thought of something. She grabbed a thick book from the shelf and placed it in Yimo's hands. "Brother Yi, you're the first to help me concoct pills. This is what I've written after years of studying pill concoction and herbs. It might help you. If one day I disappear but the things I wrote still exist, I would be very happy." When he got this book, Yimo had made up his mind to concoct the shaking light soul pill for Ninian. He was a Tao Essence Divine Emperor, so what if the Palace Lord was a Primordial Essence Divine Emperor? Who could stop him if he wanted to go? When he met Master Tianze on Earth, Tianze said to stay true to his heart. He had never done anything that was against his heart. If he wanted to concoct pills for Nianya but didn't because he was scared of the Guangyuan Palace Lord, he would lose his true heart. How could he vindicate primordial essence? Thinking about this, Yimo took her book and saluted with his fists. "Sister Ninian, Since I came, of course I will concoct a cauldron of shaking light soul pill. Just trust me. Before Nian spoke, there was a laughter. Then a skinny but extremely tall man pushed open the door and came in. He saluted with his fists to Yemo. Thank you for coming to Guang Yuan Palace Pill Divine Yi. Feng Guang wasted some time outside. Please forgive me. Seeing her dad come in, Nian's face went even more pale. She knew that even if Yemo wanted to leave, he wouldn't be able to. Nian sighed and came up pulling Yemo's clothes. Thank you Pill Divine Yi for helping Nian concoct pill. Even if it fails, Nian will forever remember Pill Divine Yi. Then, she bowed to Yemo. Yemo knew that she meant to say if he was killed by her dad, she would remember his help. Greet Palace Lord. I'm friends with Xiao He. I was asked by him to concoct pills for young Mistress Nian. It's not tiring. Yemo's views towards this Palace Lord changed and his tone grew much plainer. Feng Guan said very hospitably, Pill concoction is of no rush. Pill Divine Yi is a guest. Please come to the guest palace and enjoy some immortal fruit. Then he said to his daughter Nian, don't worry. Pill Divine Yi is the #1 pill divine of the Void Marketplace. He can definitely concoct the shaking light soul pill for you. Yes, Dad. Nian bowed. Yemo suddenly thought of Aoman. She could ask for things in front of her father, but Nian was completely different. The Palace Lord seemed to love his daughter a lot. He got her so many books and searched around for pill divines to concoct pills for her. He spent such great wealth and effort to cultivate 3 shaking light herbs. When Yemo followed the Palace Lord into the guest palace, there were 4 people sitting in a room stealthed by all sorts of restrictions. If Yemo came here, he would clearly know who these people were. They were Pu Yangxi, Wen Deshui, Zhuge Zhichen, and Ao Shi. Feng Guang is indeed very nice to his daughter. The shaking light herb isn't so easily prepared. However, I wonder if that Yemo could concoct the shaking light pill for him. Ao Shi drank some immortal wine and said, I hope he can do it quickly and then do as he promised. When Deshui said coldly, Pu Yangxi sneered but said nothing. This sneer was subtle, but Zhuge Zhichen saw it. He knew that Pu Yangxi's sneer wasn't targeted at Yemo but Wen Deshui. Thinking about this, Zhuge Zhichen knew that Pu Yangxi and Ao Shi probably knew that Yemo had much better things than markless glass light. However, Wen Deshui was an idiot. He was shrouded by hatred. Thinking about this, Zhuge Zhichen said, Are you guys really willing to give Yemo over to Feng Guang, as long as he hands over the markless glass light? Pu Yangxi and Ao Shi just glanced at Zhuge Zhichen but said nothing. Wen Deshui was a primordial essence divine emperor too. Now that Zhuge Zhichen made it so obvious, he immediately realized, if we still want Yemo's other belongings, then Guang Yuan Palace Lord. Wen Deshui suddenly realized. Guang Yuan Palace Lord said before that if Yemo failed pill concoction, he would ask Yemo for compensation and give the markless glass light to him. He only asked to get a leaf of the green lotus. If Yemo succeeded in pill concoction, he would still persuade Yemo to hand the markless glass light over. But since Yemo helped with pill concoction, he would protect Yemo's life. How could he not have heard of Guang Yuan Palace Lord's character? There was no way he would protect Yemo's life just to thank him. That meant that regardless if Yemo succeeded in pill concoction or not, the Palace Lord would give them the markless glass light but not Yemo. Why did the Palace Lord want Yemo? Clearly it was because of what Yemo had. Yemo was this insanely powerful, he definitely had good things on him. However, the Palace Lord seemed to have underestimated Yemo. It wasn't quite possible for the Guang Yuan Palace Lord to take out Yemo for certain. Seeing Wen Deshui realized this, Zhuge Zhichen smiled. Feng Guang underestimated Yemo. He thought that Yemo was just a Tao Essence Divine Emperor and could capture him for sure. He thought that we didn't catch Yemo because we didn't know where he was. I believe he will soon get a surprise. Pu Yangxi nodded. Yemo definitely has more than one secret. He probably has something else other than chaos item. Chaos item? Wen Deshui asked in shock. He only guessed that Yemo had good things. He didn't really expect Yemo had chaos items. Seeing Wen Deshui still not realize this, Pu Yangxi shook his head. Yemo sold a bottle of chaos chi at the auction. Only chaos treasures can hold chaos chi. Since EMO could take out Chaos Chi at any time, it meant that he had Chaos Treasure. Aoshi nodded. I only realized this afterwards. If the jade bottle that EMO gave that half-primordial essence was a Chaos item, then that jade bottle itself would be worth more than the Chaos Chi. I checked, he just used a very strong restriction to send the Chaos Chi into the jade bottle. Even without the jade bottle, the Chaos Chi wouldn't disperse. The jade bottle is just for show. That can't guarantee that he has Chaos item, when Desui asked. But then he realized. Even the best formation grandmaster could only use very powerful restrictions and formation to gather Chaos Chi if they didn't have Chaos Treasure. They couldn't collect too much too. EMO was willing to take out a bottle of Chaos Chi. This meant that he definitely had more. Although this didn't mean 100% that EMO had Chaos item, but it was possible. Zhuge Jichin said, although we can't prove that EMO has Chaos item, there's still such possibility. Feng Guang is someone who never does anything without benefits. Since he's willing to help get the markless glass light but not hand over EMO, he clearly guessed that EMO has some good things. Did that Feng Guang guess that EMO has Chaos Treasure? When Desui asked. Pu Yangxi shook his head, not necessarily but possible. Perhaps he wants something else from EMO, but regardless of what it is, it wouldn't be simple if Feng Guang is after it. Why don't we just call Feng Guang over and tell him that EMO isn't someone he can keep alone? We'll say what EMO has and then we'll split it. If EMO gets away, it wouldn't be good. When Desui said. He was scared of EMO leaving the most. Pill Divine Yi. How confident are you in concocting that shaking light soul pill? I only have one left. If the pill concoction fails? Feng Guang poured a cup of Immortal tea and asked EMO. EMO fell silent for a while, and suddenly said, I'm 80% confident. What? Feng Guang's hands moved. His eyes were full of fire. He suddenly regretted agreeing to Aoshi's request. He knew that Chaos Life Force was needed for the pill. EMO was this confident, meaning that he probably had Chaos Life Force. Such treasure would definitely not be less valuable than the Chaos Green Lotus. He didn't feel surprised that EMO had it. All the things in the universe had spirit. Chaos items had more spirit. They would usually find a pill divine who knew them the most. EMO was the #1 pill divine of the void. EMO sneered inside, but he said slowly, Palace Lord, don't know that the recipe is lacking some life force. This life force is Chaos Life Force. I've only seen this in an ancient pill recipe. Ordinary people can't get Chaos Life Force. The reason I'm saying I can successfully concoct the pills is that I have a life force that can substitute Chaos Life Force. Hearing this, Guang Yuan Palace Lord just went on an emotional roller coaster. His emotions sunk to the bottom. After a long while he subconsciously asked, what life force? EMO sighed. When I was in the cultivation realm, I entered the void and got a ball of 7-colored void life force marrow. In that ancient recipe, the life force can be replaced with void life force marrow. That's why I said don't worry, Palace Lord. Guang Yuan Palace Lord dazed. That works too. Void life force marrow was precious, but it was something from low void realm. It was no wonder EMO was willing to use it for pill concoction. Can you show me the void life force marrow? Feng Guang said. EMO shook his head. If Palace Lord studied Pill Dao, you would know that it can be taken out in the void, but if I take it out here, it would reduce its potency. Using the void life force marrow to concoct the shaking light soul pill has a limit. Only one pill will come out. I only have one of this. If it's wasted, it would be a huge loss to young Mistress Nianyan. That's right. Pill Divine Yi decide everything. Feng Guang knew that EMO didn't lie. EMO got up and said, Palace Lord, I might be friends with Chao He, but as a pill divine, I will still take what needs to be taken. Of course, how can I let Pill Divine Yi come for free? Feng Guang quickly said. EMO nodded. I need 50 extreme grade God Spirit range, 200 drops of 100 million year God marrow, 100 billion God crystals. I don't need anything else. Feng Guang dazed. He had never seen someone ask for this much. No matter how precious the shaking light soul pill was, it wasn't worth this much. EMO asked more than he advertised for. Seeing EMO stare at him, Feng Guang smiled bitterly. Even if you sell the Guang Yuan Palace, I wouldn't have that much. I do have 30 extreme grade God spirit range. I do have 200 drops of 100 million year God marrow. As for 100 billion God crystals, I can only get 50 billion. EMO said without hesitation, sure, that will do. Seeing this, Feng Guang immediately said, I'll go get the shaking light herb. Please help with pill concoction pill divine yi. No rush. Give me the payment first and I have to concoct pill in Miss Nianyan's room. EMO said. Why? Feng Guang looked at EMO with extreme confusion. EMO said because the pill made with void life force marrow needs to be consumed immediately. Of course, one thing is that Miss Nianyan's room has never been used for cultivation. The essence qi is very calm there. It's more suitable for pill concoction. The last sentence was bullshit. He knew that even if Feng Guang understood what he thought, he couldn't reject this. As a top formation grandmaster, he already saw that everywhere in the Guangyuan Palace was covered with surveillance formation except Nianyan's room. He planned to help Nianyan concoct pills and immediately go. Guangyuan Palace wasn't a place he liked to stay. Feng Guang fell silent for a while and said, Okay. Go to Nianyan's room for pill concoction. Nianyan saw EMO come back into her room. Before she could ask, she saw her dad come in. Pill divine yi, there's 2 storage ring here. One is your remuneration and one is the pill concoction materials including the shaking light herb I just dug. Then Feng Guang looked lovingly at Nianyan and said, Nianyan, pill divine yi is very confident. This pill needs to be concocted in your room. The pill needs to be consumed immediately, so don't worry. When pill divine yi is done, you must listen to him and consume the pill immediately. Then, Feng Guang looked gratefully at EMO pill divine yi. I'll leave my daughter to you. Then he paused and asked, How long would pill divine yi need to concoct a cauldron of shaking light soul pill? EMO thought for a moment and said, Probably 3 to 4 hours. Okay. I'll be waiting for pill divine yi's success at the guest palace. Feng Guang said and left Nianyan's room. Seeing her dad leave, Nianyan looked at EMO in shock. Brother Yi, how could my dad let you concoct pills in here? To her, her dad would never leave EMO's pill concoction. Even if he did, he wouldn't let EMO stay in her room as her dad would be coming in at any time. Her dad cared about her a lot and wouldn't take EMO's life force in front of her. Now that EMO was in her room, her dad would need to do it in front of her as he wanted EMO's life force. EMO smiled. Your dad probably thinks I can't get away after pill concoction. Then EMO set up a few restrictions on her room before continuing. Nianyan, I'm going to concoct pills. You can sit first. Wait, Brother Yi, I feel the most important thing for you now isn't pill concoction. Since you can come here, I feel the most important thing is for you to leave. Nianyan stopped EMO and said desperately, Don't worry. I will definitely concoct the pills for you. EMO went to a corner and then set up a few restriction and began pill concoction. Nianyan saw that EMO really begun and didn't dare to talk anymore. She only hoped that when EMO concocted the pills, her dad would be grateful and let him leave, despite knowing this was a very rare chance. What do you guys want me for? EMO is still in pill concoction. When the results come out, I will definitely take the thing over. Feng Guang hurried to where the 4 primordial essence divine emperors were. Xianxia and them didn't talk. They all looked at Deshui. Deshui knew that he had to speak. It was his fault for realizing that EMO had good things last. Immortal friend Feng Guang, I'll be straightforward. Deshui said, We're all not dumb. I believe immortal friend Feng Guang is after something on EMO, right? Hearing this, Feng Guang asked in confusion, What good thing? I invited pill divine yi completely to concoct pills for my daughter. Feng Guang didn't bullshit. His number 1 goal was still to save his daughter. Of course, he would use her to get good chaos life force treasure. But even if it was some other pill divine, he would still be thinking the same. Zhuge Jichin smiled and got up. We suspect EMO has a chaos treasure. Of course, this is just a guess. What? Feng Guang said in shock. If Zhuge Jichin suspected that EMO had chaos treasure, then it was pretty much certain that EMO had it. Perhaps the voice life force marrow EMO said was bullshit. He was using chaos life force to concoct pills. EMO definitely have good intentions doing this. He wanted things from him. Since Yemo had chaos treasure, he must not hand over Yemo. As soon as Feng Guang thought of this, Zhuge Zhichen asked, Immortal friend Feng Guang, regardless of whether your shock is real or fake, I want to ask you one thing. How well do you think you will fare against immortal friend Desui in a battle? Feng Guang regained his composure and smiled. Immortal friend Desui is the #1 primordial essence divine emperor of the Aquarius race, but I've only been in solitary cultivation. How can I match immortal friend Deshui's great god art? When Desui interrupted immortal friend Feng Guang, I'm not scared of being embarrassed. Out of the people here, I'm probably the weakest. It's fine if immortal friend Feng Guang speaks the truth. I'm no match for immortal friend Feng Guang, and everyone knows this. Feng Guang smiled but said nothing. Zhuge Zhichen smiled. Immortal friend Feng Guang, no need to be so humble. In a real battle, immortal friend Desui is indeed no match for immortal friend Feng Guang. But if immortal friend Feng Guang thinks Pill Divine Yi is a Tao Essence Divine Emperor, then you're wrong. Pill Divine Yi is a primordial essence Divine Emperor, and he's one who's stronger than us. Hearing this, Feng Guang was completely blown away. Yemo was a primordial essence Divine Emperor? Since when did the human race have a primordial essence Divine Emperor? If Yemo was a primordial essence Divine Emperor, could he easily capture Yemo? When Desui said calmly, Immortal friend Zhuge is speaking the truth. I fought Yemo twice. I was no match for him both times. If I wasn't at the Dragon Palace, I might have been killed by this person already. Seeing Feng Guang look at him, Aoshi saluted with his fists. Immortal friends Desui and Zhuge are speaking the truth. Yemo is indeed a primordial essence Divine Emperor and not an ordinary one. He was at the Dragon Palace for my primordial essence ceremony, but he escaped from the gang-up of 5 primordial essence Divine Emperor. So, it's impossible for immortal friend Feng Guang to subjugate Yemo alone. You might even be killed instead. Feng Guang's face sunk. The reason he was so generous in giving Yemo almost his entire fortune was because he wasn't afraid of Yemo escaping. However, he was certain that Zhuge and them weren't lying. Otherwise, Yemo wouldn't appear in the Guangyuan Palace so calmly. Feng Guang said, I almost gave all my fortune to Yemo for pill concoction. I can collaborate with you guys, but I will also get back my fortune other than getting a share of what Yemo has. It wasn't hard to concoct the shaking light soul pill. It was only hard without chaos life force. Yemo had chaos tree, so it didn't waste any effort concocting the pills. He was done in just 5 minutes. Yemo took 11 of the 12 pills. Nianyan only needed 1. Brother Yi, did you fail? Nianyan saw Yemo remove the restriction and got up worriedly. If Yemo didn't fail, how could he come out in just 5 minutes? Yemo took out a pill and smiled. I finished. You just need to eat this pill and you will be completely cured. At the same time, you can start cultivation. Huh? Nianyan called out in shock. Before she finished, Yemo's pill already landed in her mouth. Turned into endless life force. Nianyan instantly felt her life force gather. Her soul became strong and this steady feeling rose up. This was the first time she had such feeling. This was the feeling of life. This feeling was wonderful. It didn't feel ethereal like before. Nianyan's eyes went red the instant she felt she touched her life. She knew that the pill Yemo gave her definitely wasn't fake. How is it? Yemo asked. He could clearly feel Nianyan's change. That return of life force. Nianyan woke up from her joy. Although she had seen through life and death, she didn't want to die if she could. Thank you, Brother Yi. Nianyan bowed to Yemo. Then she said excitedly, if my dad knew that you really made the pill, he would be very happy. He would definitely treat you as an important guest. Yemo said calmly, your dad might truly love you, but he definitely won't treat me as an important guest. Even though I made this pill, it would just be giving my life to him. Seeing Nianyan look at him in confusion, Yemo laughed in self-mockery. Your dad probably suspects I have good things on me. He's waiting for me to finish pill concoction and so he can kill and rob me. Nianyan was shocked for a moment, but then she sighed and didn't argue. She knew her father. He loved her a lot, but he wasn't a grateful person. After a while, she looked up and looked firmly at Yemo. Brother Yi, you saved me. Even if I used my life, I won't let anything happen to you. Emo waved his hand, Sister Nyanyan. The reason I was willing to concoct pills wasn't because of your dad but because of you. You're very kind, but you can't change your dad's decisions. You know why your dad agreed to give me so much remuneration for pill concoction? It's because he thinks he can take it back. Emo stopped her from talking and continued, the reason I chose to concoct pills in your room is so that I can leave from here. If I leave Guang Yuan Palace, your dad wouldn't be able to do anything to me. If I leave from here and your dad is still going to ambush me, I won't show mercy. You're going to tear the void from here? Nyanyan instantly realized. Emo nodded, that's right. However, your dad's cultivation method doesn't suit you. In thanks for the book you gave me, I have a cultivation method to give you. With your talent and cleverness, you can easily vindicate Dao with my cultivation method. Then, Emo placed a jade slip in Nyanyan's hand. We'll part our ways now. Whether or not we can meet again, I hope you can vindicate Dao soon. Then Emo released Zisu. A purple light flashed and the next moment, Emo disappeared into the void crevice. Nyanyan looked dazedly at where Emo disappeared for a long while before bowing again. Brother Yi. Thank you. If Nyanyan achieves anything in the future, I will repay you. When Emo tore open the space from Nyanyan's room, he immediately knew things were bad. The place he was at was modified. It was either a spirit-controlled region of the void or was a small world. All around him was restrictions and formations. Emo knew he was set up by Fengguang. Fengguang knew his purpose for concocting pills in Nyanyan's room. So this guy set up this trap. Realizing his situation, Emo was in no rush to tear open the space here. He knew that since Fengguang drew him to this region, he wouldn't be able to break free in a short while. Since Fengguang thought he had him for sure, then they would fight. Pill Divine Yi. Thank you for concocting the Shaking Light Soul pill for my daughter. If you hand over your chaos item, I promise in the name of Guang Yuan Palace that I won't hurt you at all. Fengguang's voice sounded. Emo said plainly, your Guang Yuan Palace name is full of shit. To me, Guang Yuan Palace is just a trash ground. If I want to leave, Fengguang, you wouldn't be able to stop me. If immortal friend Fengguang can't, then what about us as well? A voice sounded. Zhuge Zhichen and then appeared. Emo's eyes narrowed. He knew he was set up by Fengguang. However, he wasn't worried. When he ran from the Dragon Palace, it wasn't purely because he couldn't beat them but that if they fought he would use all his means. He had too many means. If he couldn't kill them all, it would be exposed. The situation at the Dragon Palace determined that he couldn't kill everyone there. Since he was sealed in this space, then he would talk with power. So what if he wasn't primordial essence yet? Emo, you killed countless of my Aquarius Divine Emperor. The Aquarius race has sent warships. The Divine Dao realm is probably in ruins now. When Desui sneered, he knew Emo would never be able to get away. Hearing this, Emo's eyes were bulging out. He couldn't resist anymore and hacked out with Zisu. Instantly, a twisted purple sword rune appeared in this void. This was his full-powered Falling Mark Sword rune. This Falling Mark Sword rune struck towards Wendesui. At the same time, Emo released the lightning orbs. Seeing Emo attack so ferociously, the other four released their magic artifacts at the same time. However, no one other Wendesui attacked with full power. They knew Emo wouldn't be able to get away. Attacking with full power now was stupid. If they fought one-on-one, they would attack with full power. However, although everyone was collaborating here, they couldn't just show people their lethal blows. When Desui had to attack with full power, he felt a powerful threat. Emo's devouring twisted sword rune already locked onto his soul before it even arrived. This wasn't the Dragon Race guest palace. Emo's sword rune exploded with full power. Zisu was stronger than even primordial spirit artifact. With this strike, no matter how strong Wendeshui's spaceless water slice god art was, it couldn't stop the Falling Mark Sword rune. The spaceless water slice was crushed by the Falling Mark Sword rune. The god art space law was smashed to pieces like bubbles. Wendesui was on alert for Emo's spirit sense god art, but he couldn't care now. An extremely powerful water shield formed. At the same time, he felt a void appear in his sea of consciousness. He couldn't control this void. Not good, it was that spirit sense god art again. When Desui cursed that the rest of the people didn't attack with full power. Water ripples stacked up in his sea of consciousness wanting to block this great primordial god rune spirit sense attack. Then, he realized he was tricked. EMO didn't just have one great primordial god rune, it was three. The three great primordial god rune spirit sense attacks broke open the water ripples. When Desui felt his sea of consciousness ache and the next moment, the falling mark sword rune broke open his defense magic artifact and landed on his body. Thud. When Desui was a primordial essence divine emperor, but under Yemo's terrifying strike, he didn't even take out a decent defense and was turned to nothing. Even his storage ring exploded. Countless god crystals turned to nothing. Only a truth spirit world bead was left on the side. Rumble. At the same time, for magic artifact struck Yemo's 36 lightning orbs. This tore open the realm domain of the lightning orbs and Yemo's own realm domain. Emo was smashed flying after spitting a mouthful of essence blood. When Emo was smashed out, the other four were a bit dazed. Even Zhuge Jichin, who highly estimated Emo, completely didn't expect that Emo could kill Wen Desui in such a short time. Everyone attack with full power. Wen Desui is the example. Zhuge Jichin no longer had a smile on his face. At the same time, a blue light appeared in his hand. A painting scroll was subtly showed in the blue light. Emo was injured, but he could tell the scroll wasn't simple. Xianxia waved his hand and a dark barrier appeared around him. At the same time, there was a pair of demon light frost crows above his head. Aoshi released a shocking blood rain flag. Emo's spirit sense scanned and knew this was close to primordial spirit artifact. What shocked Emo was that Guang Yuan Palace Lord, whom he felt threatened the most, only released an extreme grade god artifact blue sword. The four clearly treated Emo was a powerful enemy. They sealed off all of Yemo's exit. Emo didn't even have a place to run. Emo's Zisu and 36 lightning orbs already bursted their eyeballs out. These two magic artifacts were definitely no lower than primordial spirit artifact. Emo easily took out two primordial spirit artifact. One could see that Emo definitely had more magic artifacts. Xianxia attacked first. The pair of demon light frost crows made mind-devouring shrieks and shot out two demon lights that sealed off Emo's retreat. Their powerful realm domains stacked together. Emo felt it was difficult to even breath in here, much less break free and attack one. Aoshi's eyes flashed with cruelty. The lightning blood rain flag loomed over Yemo's head. Powerful lightning rain smashed down. These lightning light rains spat out from the flag and twisted the entire void in this rain veil. This wasn't just lightning rain, it was world-destroying death beams. Emo didn't wait till Fengguang to release his magic artifact. A flame suddenly burned around him. The space binding him was instantly burned away. The slowed 36 lightning orbs started to spin again. Divine flame, blue like morning sky. As soon as Yemo's flame came out, the four instantly recognized it. At the same time, Yemo's 7 blue suns floated in this void. Fengguang's long sword was released. The blue sword beam and the two demon lights smashed Yemo's 36 lightning orbs away, instantly attacking Yemo's body. At this time, Yemo's heaven flame 9 suns was completely released. The 7 blue suns almost completely melted this region of void. Their stacked realm domain also cracked under the heaven flame 9 suns. Yemo's realm domain finally took some space. However, the 4 primordial essence divine emperor's clothes didn't even crack under the heaven flame 9 suns. The heaven flame 9 suns only broke their realm domain, but it didn't affect them that much. However, Emo just wanted to break their stacked realm domain for the moment, or he wouldn't be able to counterattack. At this time, Emo couldn't even care if he had enough god essence and spirit sense. His 5 lightning spear destruction, great primordial god rune and Zisu attacked at Zhuge Jichin. To Emo, Zhuge Jichin's magic artifact was the scariest. That mountain water painting seemed familiar. Rumble. Emo felt a blue light instantly break open his realm domain and 36 lightning orbs. An extremely beautiful landscape appeared before him. There was an exquisite hut next to the green lake. Luoying, Qingxue were smiling at him and waiting for him to go in and reunite with them. When Emo dazed, The bitter bamboo in the golden page world suddenly wobbled, and this clear chi spread across Yi-Mo's sea of consciousness. Yi-Mo shook, but at the same time, the lightning rain death beams broke open Yi-Mo's 36 lightning orbs. Yi-Mo's eyes showed resolution. He knew he was at a disadvantage and it was impossible to kill Zhuge Jichin without getting hurt. He had to gamble. He gambled that Zhuge Jichin didn't know he had woken up. He gambled that his 36 lightning orbs and divine body was about to take this hit. Yi-Mo made up his mind and smashed all his god art only at Zhuge Jichin. He ignored all the other attacks. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Crack, crack, crack. In that instant, all sorts of magic artifact exploded and flew. Blood mist flew, lightning rain, demon light, sword ray, sword chi. They entwined together, turning this region of void into a space of destruction. Feng Guang's blue sword veil and Pu Yangxi's demon light struck Yi-Mo. Even though it was blocked by Yi-Mo's realm domain and 36 lightning orbs, it almost tore Yi-Mo to pieces. The lightning rain tore open a shocking wound on Yi-Mo's already broken body. Before Zhuge Jichin could rejoice, his eyes instantly widened as he looked at the Zi-Su sword ray falling in disbelief. He didn't understand how Yi-Mo could still counterattack when he lost himself in the Immortal Palace landscape painting. This was a primordial spirit artifact. He still didn't understand why Yi-Mo chose to attack him, who was at the very back when the other three attacked him. But this wasn't the most important. Yi-Mo clearly was trying to take him out with his life. Zhuge Jichin was certain that if he fought Yi-Mo alone, he would fall into such situation. Just how powerful was Yi-Mo's spirit sense to be able to stay conscious in the landscape painting while being attacked by 3 primordial essence divine emperors. Zhuge Jichin didn't have time to think properly. The painting scroll completely expanded and smashed with Zi-Su. These scenes instantly disappeared. 3 great primordial god runes seeped out from the painting and attacked Zhuge Jichin. When the 3 great primordial god rune arrived, Zhuge Jichin was cut into several pieces. Yi-Mo flew away heavily injured. Yi-Mo sighed, he only heavily injured Zhuge Jichin. With Zhuge Jichin's power, even if he was torn to pieces, he would soon recover if his sea of consciousness and essence spirit was fine. However, he couldn't keep attacking Zhuge Jichin. His god essence was dried up now. Seeing his body being split into a few pieces, Zhuge Jichin breathed easy instead. He knew that Yi-Mo wouldn't be able to attack again. It wasn't hard to recover his body. He also knew that Yi-Mo wasn't scared of his landscape painting scroll. At this moment, the 7 blue suns dimmed and disappeared. No one cared. Yi-Mo was heavily injured. His god essence was withered. It was normal that he couldn't control his god art. Even Zhuge Jichin didn't care. When he was recovering his body, he suddenly felt a blue light appear before him. At the same time, a blue sun smashed over. Zhuge Jichin looked at this dazedly, completely not comprehending how Yi-Mo could attack him. In that instant, Zhuge Jichin was burnt to nothing. A small yellow bracelet was taken away by the blue flame and then instantly brought back to Yi-Mo Little Blue. Yi-Mo looked at Little Blue in surprise and joy. He really wanted to finish Zhuge Jichin off with a flame god art, but he didn't have the capability. However, Little Blue understood him and did it for him and even took back Zhuge Jichin's belongings. Yi-Mo took Little Blue with his hands. He knew now wasn't the time to talk. He ate a primordial essence abstruse pill. He was grateful to Tang Tsongyin. Without her, he wouldn't be able to replenish his god essence. He kept 3 primordial essence abstruse pills which would instantly recover 60% of a primordial essence divine emperor's god essence. This meant that he could attack with full power 3 more times. Yi-Mo looked very terrifying right now. Bones could be seen on his chest. More than 10 blood holes passed through his chest. The most savaged was Pu Yangxi's demon light. Passed through Yi-Mo's chest and went out through his back. What flowed out wasn't blood but gray chi. It was lost life force. Feng Guan wasn't shocked that Yi-Mo killed Zhuge Jichin. He saw Yi-Mo being attacked by 3 primordial essence divine emperor and didn't turn to bloody mist. He called out in shock, chaos life force, divine body. If he still didn't realize now, he would be an idiot. Not only Feng Guang but Pu Yangxi and Aoshi realized too. They knew Yi-Mo was divine body already, but now, Yemo also had chaos life force. If Yemo didn't have any of those, he would have been caught already. Yemo received such terrifying injuries and still could recover so rapidly. The chaos life force Yemo had wasn't simple. Chaos tree. Almost at the same time, the three thought of this word. Chaos tree also had another name, the tree of life. Only the chaos tree could constantly supply Yemo with life force. Otherwise, how could Yemo stay this lively after being struck by Pu-Yangxi's demon light frost crows? More than one primordial spirit artifact, divine flame, chaos life force. Their eyes went red. Even primordial essence divine emperor couldn't reject such fortune. If they got these things, who would be a match for them in the universe? He has a lot of things, we can share it out. His essence chi and spirit sense is used greatly. Let's use this opportunity to attack. Before Pu-Yangxi finished, Yemo attacked first. Yemo charged at Pu-Yangxi this time. He didn't even release Zissou. He just waved out a void mark with his hand. Pu-Yangxi instantly felt that he was in a space that didn't belong to him nor the world. This space belonged to Yemo's god art, one region. Pu-Yangxi sneered and spun his overlord demon barrier. At the same time he broke free from Yemo's one region god art. An extremely ancient time chi came. Pu-Yangxi instantly froze. He felt he became younger. He saw his first love. He went back to the past where he buried the woman he loved the most personally. He swore that he would surpass samsara and not his life get controlled by the world. But now, why did he have the feeling of samsara? A samsara bridge appeared before him as though calling to him. Step on, if he stepped on, he would gain new life. Yemo's god art, samsara. Not right, Pu-Yangxi suddenly woke up. He wasn't in samsara, he was fighting Yemo. His realm domain smashed out and he broke free from Yemo's samsara. That only lasted 1 instant. How long was 1 instant? It wasn't enough to do anything. But for primordial essence divine emperor or Yemo, 1 instant was enough to do many things. 3 great primordial god rune and a punch. Yemo used his simplest fist god art, void. This was the first god art Yemo mastered. A god art he rarely used. However, void was the best god art for Yemo now. The great primordial god rune didn't break open the barrier, but it cracked a crevice. Pu-Yangxi woke up and Yemo's punch entered this crack. I won't go into samsara. Pu-Yangxi said these words and felt his surroundings pause again. This was Yemo's time law god art instant second. Pu-Yangxi could no longer bear being bound by a god art. He spat a mouthful of essence blood and suddenly black mist burned around his body. This black mist instantly turned Yemo's instant second god art into nothing. God art space demon kill. Pu-Yangxi ignored Yemo's void punch and released his own law god art. Yemo's void punch suddenly paused. He felt he had sunk into a demon chi dimension. In here, he was locked by the dimension and couldn't move. At least in that instant, he couldn't move. Waves of demonic lethal chi brought destructive killing intent and arrived. These demonic lethal chi were going to completely tear him apart. There was a burning desperation in Yemo's eyes. If only Shadowless was here. Shadowless could devour space, but he knew that Shadowless would only devour a few space and would turn to dust. Rumble. For the first time, Aoshi's flag flew out of his hand, passing through Pu-Yangxi's demon kill space and struck on Yemo's chest. It almost took away half of Yemo's chest. If Yemo wasn't divine body, his body wouldn't exploded already. Yemo sighed. He knew he failed. If Aoshi attacked half a second later, he would have a sliver of hope. But even if he was going to die, he would bring someone with him. Yemo broke free from the demon kill space. He ate the remaining 2 primordial essence abstruse pills. The paused void punch smashed out like a flood and onto Pu-Yangxi. Thud. Blood mist exploded. Pu-Yangxi's essence spirit just escaped but was devoured by Little Blue who hid in Yemo's void punch. Splurge. A gray spear passed through Yemo's chest, smashing him away and nailing him to the void. A gray chi emitted from the long spear and Yemo was nailed in the void. He couldn't move at all. Even without this spear, Yemo wouldn't be able to run from Aoshi's lightning rain flag, but with this spear, Yemo didn't even have any chance to live. God slaughter gray spear. Yemo knew this was a primordial spirit artifact, an extremely ferocious primordial spirit artifact. So this was Fengguang's magic artifact. Yemo sighed. This Fengguang really knew how to hide. If Fengguang took out this first, he wouldn't have targeted Zhuge Jichin first but Fengguang. God slaughter gray spear. Aoshi immediately recognized it. That's right it is, Fengguang said, and then suddenly there was this mist beam behind Aoshi that completely enveloped him. Fengguang, you bastard. Aoshi didn't expect Fengguang would ambush him at this time. However, it was too late. Blood mist flew and an essence spirit flew out. As soon as the essence spirit came out, it was crushed to nothing by Fengguang's powerful god essence hand. Yemo and the 5 primordial essence divine emperors battle only lasted a short time. It was only a few seconds and the battle ended. For primordial essence divine emperors died. Yemo was nailed by the god slaughter gray spear. Even though he had the chaos tree, if he couldn't break free from the spear, he would have to die. The only winner was Guang Yuan Palace Lord Fengguang. Seeing Yemo's blood being devoured by the god slaughter gray spear, Fengguang said plainly, "Luckily these 4 idiots came, or I really wouldn't be able to subjugate you. You're the scariest Tao Essence Divine Emperor I've ever seen. I'm certain that you haven't reached the 3rd step. If you vindicated the 3rd step of Tao, even the 5 of us combined will be crushed by your finger." Fengguang shook his head, "But this person will be me in the future. You didn't need to die here. What a pity, you were too greedy." Fengguang didn't attack Yemo immediately. He waved his hand and all the floating storage ring, truth spirit worlds and magic artifacts flew into his hands. Yemo tried to struggle and immediately knew that he wouldn't be able to break free. He felt his life force dripping away. His essence blood and essence chi was devoured by the spear constantly. Yemo gave up struggling and said, "I really suspect if you're Nianyan's real father. You are using your daughter. I even suspect that you purposely caused her condition." Unexpectedly, Fengguang smiled, "No matter what you doubt, you will die for certain. You won't get to know if Nianyan is my daughter. I know you're very strong. So strong that I'm scared. So I won't get close to you. I'm a very careful person. Although in time, the spear would kill you, but I've still decided to kill you personally. I can't wait to see if you have the chaos tree." Suddenly, a scorching flame appeared in Fengguang's hand. He stared at the flame and said, "One god flame should be enough to turn your divine body into nothing, right?" Yemo suddenly laughed. "Fengguang, I have the same thing to tell you." "What is it?" Fengguang subconsciously asked. He had this innate fear towards Yemo. As soon as he asked this, he felt his entire body was covered by this destructive killing intent. It was as though if he moved, he would turn to dust. "You're too greedy. You shouldn't have killed Aoshi first." A golden bow appeared in Yemo's face. On it was a golden bone arrow. Previous index next add bookmarks. Before Yemo shot out his arrow, Fengguang already felt that terrifying killing intent grinding away his life force. At this moment he couldn't move. If he moved just a little, he would die to the arrow immediately. "Golden arrow of divine extermination," Fengguang murmured. Sweat was dripping down his forehead. He didn't even remember when this last happened. When Yemo drew open the bow now, he knew it wasn't the same as before. The power of this bow and arrow had increased countless times. Yemo felt a little sad. This was the first time he used golden arrow of divine extermination after completely spirit controlling it. This might be the last time too. He felt the terrifying lethal chi. Yemo knew that if he shot out this arrow, he would be destroyed too. Perhaps he was already destroyed. "Till divine Yi, don't attack. You're nailed by the slaughter god gray spear. If you use your god essence and spirit sense, your foundation will be ruined. You will never be able to repair it." Fengguang stared at the arrow and said shakily. He didn't know if he could dodge this arrow, but he knew the killing intent of this arrow was too terrifying. It already went inside his bone marrow. If he had the chance again, he would never join the hunt for Yemo. Even if he did, he would never kill Aoshi first. A sliver of mockery flashed across Yemo's eyes. He knew that he couldn't move at all, being pinned by the spear. Releasing the golden bow and arrow of divine extermination now was destroying his foundation and life force. He knew that, even if he didn't move, Feng Guang wasn't going to remove the spear for him. Emo was going to die, but he didn't want to die to a sly person like Feng Guang. Before Feng Guang finished, Emo shot out the first golden arrow of divine extermination. A faint golden mark tore open this void. Endless destruction enveloped everything. There was no more life force nor mark in the space. The bone arrow broke away everything and swept away the world. The space that was extremely tough due to all the restrictions started to crack up like a spider web. Feng Guang's eyes spasmed. His back was drenched in sweat. The instant Emo shot this arrow, he breathed easy instead. He wouldn't be scared once the arrow was shot out. As long as he blocked this arrow with full power, then even if he was heavily injured, Emo would be his. A faint red cauldron was instantly released by Feng Guang. Its grade was higher than Xianxia's Overlord Demon Barrier. Rarely could people even release defense magic artifact under the fully spirit-controlled golden arrow of divine extermination. Rarely, but that didn't mean no one. Feng Guang was amongst that rarely. He instantly released the huge cauldron in front of him. Rumble! The golden arrow of divine extermination shot on the cauldron. The cauldron made whimpers, and this terrifying crack appeared all over the huge cauldron. The huge cauldron was very precious, but to Feng Guang, his life was more precious than countless of these huge cauldrons. Powerful killing intent seeped from the cauldron and smashed onto Feng Guang's dantian. Feng Guang spat mouthfuls of essence blood. His meridians all shattered, but he saved his life. Before he could breathe easy, he once again felt the soul-invading lethal force. Feng Guang immediately realized Emo had more than one golden arrow of divine extermination. Another 2 golden lights sliced across the space. Feng Guang suddenly regretted nailing Emo with the spear. If he had the gray spear in his hands, he would be able to block a few arrows. He really didn't understand how Emo could keep shooting the arrows. Even if Emo didn't want his foundation and kept burning God Essence and Foundation, he wouldn't be able to keep shooting. All those who were nailed by the God Slaughter gray spear couldn't move. Their life force and essence blood would be instantly devoured clean. Then, their essence spirit would be annihilated. However, Emo shot out 3 golden arrow of divine extermination. Was the chaos tree really that terrifying? A person nailed by the God Slaughter gray spear could still gather God essence? But these weren't what he could imagine. The second arrow smashed apart his cauldron, and the third arrow carried endless destruction to his chest. Feng Guang's realm domain became weak like a chicken egg under this bone arrow. He waved out a few space law god arts, but they could only block the arrow for an instant. The next moment, the golden arrow of divine extermination nailed him on the chest. Feng Guang spat a few more mouthfuls of essence blood. He used his hands to grab the golden arrow of divine extermination, and then he breathed slowly. He finally stopped the third arrow. It made him heavily injured. All his bones and meridians were broken, but he finally stopped it. At least his essence spirit wasn't injured. Emo gradually felt his power leave him. Every time he gathered God Essence to shoot that arrow, the terrifying power of the God Slaughter gray spear would tear his meridians and foundation even more. Emo knew he had to kill Feng Guang even if he traded his life for it. He drew his golden arrow of divine extermination again and shot out 4 arrows at the same time. Bloody mist seeped out from Emo's body. Emo couldn't shoot out the 8th arrow. His hand couldn't even grab the bow and arrow anymore. The last arrow and the bow floated around like the rest of the magic artifacts in this region of space. The 4 arrows didn't shoot out at the same time, but the difference between each one was very short. The 4 arrows once again tore the void here, turning it dark gray. All life force was crushed under the 4 arrows. Feng Guang grabbed the 3rd arrow, but his eyes stared deadly at the 4 golden colors. He didn't expect Emo could shoot out 4 arrows again. He also didn't understand how Emo had this many golden arrows of divine extermination. His surrounding was completely sealed by the golden arrow of divine extermination. He couldn't nor dare to move. Rumble. The 4th arrow took Feng Guang flying and nailed him in the void too. The 5th arrow arrived instantly and blew his body apart. The 6th arrow annihilated Feng Guang's essence spirit, and the 7th arrow nailed Feng Guang's skull to the void. Then, this region of void became dead silent. Other than magic artifact that would make everyone's eyes go red floating around. There was only the nailed skull of Fengguang and nailed Yimo. There was nothing else other than destruction chi. Yimo's head swayed to the side. He had no sound nor chi. In this void, perhaps only Little Blue could move. Little Blue's wobbly blue flames turned into two hands. The two hands wanted to pull down the God-Slaughter gray spear from Yimo. However, even Yimo couldn't pull the God-Slaughter gray spear when he was heavily injured. Little Blue tried again and failed. The God-Slaughter gray spear was still stuck on Yimo's chest. It didn't even move. After countless failures, Little Blue gave up. It suddenly adhered to the spear and released a terrifying temperature. Clearly, Little Blue wanted to melt the spear. Everyone went quiet again. There was only the sound of Little Blue trying to melt the God-Slaughter gray spear. If anyone came into this space, he would be shocked by the countless treasures here. He would even wonder if he was dreaming. There were primordial spirit artifacts everywhere. Truth spirit worlds were floating. There was God Flame and even Divine Flame. Year by year passed. The God-Slaughter gray spear was gradually melted by Little Blue. Although it would only get one layer thinner each year, Little Blue never stopped. This region of void space was gradually sealed by dust. Void Marketplace Merchant Tower has always been the #1 immortal rest tower of the Void Marketplace. All races and divine emperors liked staying here as they could get the latest news and the best residence here. However, the rooms were too tight. Most people could only stay in the hall except for some early comers. A blue-robed woman sat quietly at one corner. She had been here for a long time and never asked for anything other than a kettle of immortal tea. Perhaps because she came early, she had a table all to herself. The immortal rest tower was big, but because there were so many people, almost every table was full. However, no one went up to her table to sit with her. No one dared to take this table by force purely because this woman came from the human race and was a Tao Actualization Divine Emperor. A Tao Actualization Divine Emperor was nothing in the Void Marketplace. There were Tao Actualization Divine Emperors everywhere, but she was from the human race. The human race had high status in the Void Marketplace. No people would offend human race for no reason. She didn't come here for long and felt confused that no one came to her side. She knew she was nothing in the Void Marketplace. Even if someone came to her table, she wouldn't say anything. At this moment, another woman came into the hall. She saw the seats were all full and frowned. She wore light green immortal robes. She emitted this immortal aura that was beyond realms. Her long hair casually on her shoulders showing her unparalleled figure. Every realm had countless extremely beautiful women, and there were even more in the Void Marketplace. However, everyone was certain that they were nothing compared to this green-robed woman. The blue-robed woman was extremely beautiful, but when she saw this green-robed woman, she knew she was like an ugly duckling compared to the green-robed woman. She got up and said, "Immortal friend, I have some space here. If you don't mind, please sit over." The green-robed woman saw a good-looking goddess invite her and immediately went over and thanked. "We're all from the human race and we're all Tao Actualization Divine Emperor. We have some fate to be encounter each other. Why thank me? I'm called Nye Shuangshuang. May I ask, martial sister?" The blue-robed woman smiled. The blue-robed woman was Nye Shuangshuang, who vindicated Tao at the Ice God Palace and went to the Divine Tao realm and then came to the Void Marketplace from the Divine Tao realm. After Nye Shuangshuang ambushed Yimo, she became solitary and didn't like talking. She had always been in solitary cultivation or adventuring alone in the Chaos Star realm. When she reached Tao molding Divine Emperor, she became better. Then she left the Ice God Palace and came to the Divine Tao realm. The green-robed woman thanked, "I'm called Zhen Bingyu." Nye Shuangshuang had never heard of this name and asked, "Martial Sister Bingyu, are you here to find opportunity to break through?" Zhen Bingyu shook her head. "No, I came here to look for someone." Then she stopped talking. This was Nye Shuangshuang's first time seeing someone who talked less than her. She didn't know anything about the Void Marketplace, so she asked quietly, "Martial Sister Bingyu, I see there's a lot of people here and I'm sitting alone. Why does no one come sit next to me?" Zhen Bingyu smiled. "Because you're a human race Divine Emperor. Before you agree, no one would come over." "Why?" When I just arrived at the Divine Tao realm, I heard that the Divine Tao realm was broken and the human race had very low status. Why is there such a change? Nia Shuangshuang asked. Zhan Bingyu thought for a long while before saying, because a pill divine of the human race appeared. He was not only a pill divine but also created a huge name for the human race, especially in this immortal rest tower. Xing Hong, divine emperor of this tower, is really close to him and takes care of the human race. Zhan Bingyu thought of the days she was with Yemo. There are countless powerful beings in the void marketplace. The human race has such divine emperor? How could he create such a huge name in the void marketplace? Nia Shuangshuang asked in disbelief. This time, another human divine emperor said, of course. Pill Divine Yi killed more than 100 Aquarius race divine emperor at the God rank square. He also took back the spots belonging to the human race for the Tao Fruit Tower. Then the Aquarius race attacked the divine Tao realm, but what happened? They ran back. They ran because they were scared of Pill Divine Yi. Nia Shuangshuang had been focused on cultivation and didn't care about that much. However, she did hear about the Aquarius race attacking the divine Tao realm. She didn't expect this involved a human pill divine slaying more than 100 of their divine emperors. That's nothing. When Pill Divine Yi went to the dragon race for Aoshi divine emperor's primordial essence ceremony, 6 or 7 primordial essence divine emperors attacked Pill Divine Yi, but they weren't able to keep him. Now, who would dare to talk shit to Pill Divine Yi one-on-one? Another human divine emperor said. Nia Shuangshuang was very shocked. She knew the human race had no primordial essence divine emperor. Didn't this mean that this Pill Divine Yi was human race primordial essence divine emperor? Just when she wanted to ask, another sneer sounded. Pill Divine Yi is indeed powerful, but he's still dead. Otherwise, why has there been no news of him for 1,000 years ever since he left the dragon race? Plus your human race only has a Pill Divine Yi. Who else in the human race is powerful? On the top 10 of God rank, do you see a single human divine emperor? Good point, the divine Tao realm is broken. If it wasn't for our Aquarius race Deshui divine emperor showing mercy, there would be no divine Tao realm. Emo is not bad, but that's only with Tao essence divine emperors. If he encounters primordial essence divine emperors, he can only run. If Emo comes here, even our Aquarius race Riguang divine emperor can take him down easily, much less divine rank number 2 beast race Tianhua divine emperor. A watery Tao actualization divine emperor immediately said. The human divine emperor heard this and got up, run from a few primordial essence divine emperor. If you're good, then why don't you show me and run? If Pill Divine Yi was here, that Rui Guang wouldn't even last one move. In that case, I will challenge you. If you're strong, come fight me on the stage at the God rank square. The Aquarius divine emperor said with annoyance. Okay, I will fight with you. Unexpectedly, it was this green-robed goddess who agreed. The Aquarius divine emperor looked at Zhan Bingyu in shock. Goddess, you're from the human race, but I didn't challenge you. Zhan Bingyu said coldly, I'm uncomfortable with anyone who dares to say bad things about Yemo. If you don't challenge me, very well, I will challenge you. Nia Shuangshuang was thinking how there could be such a coincidental name. She had already severed Yemo with everything in the past. Was everyone who was called this name this eye-catching? She got up and asked Zhan Bingyu, Martial Sister Bingyu. That Yemo? What relationship are you with Yemo? Why are you fighting for him? The Aquarius divine emperor disrespected Yemo verbally, but he was very scared of Yemo. News of Yemo suppressing Aquarius primordial essence divine emperor when Deshui had long spread everywhere. I'm his lover, what? You don't dare to go. Zhan Bingyu said calmly. Humph. I'm an Aquarius Tao actualization divine emperor. I'm not going to care about a woman like you. The Aquarius divine emperor sneered and left angrily. Zhan Bingyu sat down calmly and said nothing. The entire hall calmed down too. Everyone knew that the Aquarius divine emperor didn't really leave because Zhan Bingyu was a woman. There was no difference between men and women in battle at the void marketplace. The reason the divine emperor left quickly was because she said that she was someone Yemo loved. Who was Yemo? No matter how much the Aquarius and beast race degraded Yemo, Yemo's name in the void marketplace had never shivered. He killed more than 100 divine emperors and swore at Wen Desui in the dragon race, but Wen Desui didn't dare to say anything. A few primordial essence divine emperors wanted to stop Yemo, but Yemo left casually. There were hundreds of witnesses there, and all these witnesses were powerful people. Then, there was news that the dragon race, beast race, Aquarius race, and demon race primordial essence divine emperors joined up to find Yemo, but they disappeared along with Yemo. These news caused many guesses. Some people guessed that the 4 primordial essence divine emperor fought with Yemo in a huge battle and they all died. Some people guessed that these 4 primordial essence divine emperors killed Yemo and didn't want people to say things, so they went into solitary cultivation. Other people guessed that these 4 primordial essence divine emperors and Yemo were all heavily injured. So they hid and treated their injuries. Regardless, it was Yemo fighting 4 primordial essence divine emperors. Yemo could fight 4 primordial essence divine emperors. This little Tao actualization divine emperor was truly lesser than an insect to Yemo. If he really offended Yemo's woman, then he would have nowhere to run when Yemo came back. When he heard Jin Bingyu was Yemo's woman, he just used an excuse to leave. Martial sister Bingyu, the Yemo you spoke about came from the immortal realm? Nya Shuangshuang finally had the chance to ask. Zhen Bingyu nodded. Yes, your human race divine emperor. Do you really not know him? Nya Shuangshuang waved out an image and asked shakily, Martial sister Bingyu, is Pill divine Yi this person? Zhen Bingyu wiped the image away and said with some annoyance, yes. She didn't like it how Nya Shuangshuang clearly knew Yemo but still spoke like this. If Yemo wasn't famous at all, then she wouldn't be angry. However, Yemo was famous in both the immortal realm, divine Tao realm, and the void marketplace. Yet Nya Shuangshuang said she didn't know him. You are someone Yemo likes? Nya Shuangshuang asked, forcefully controlling her shakiness. Why couldn't Yemo like her? This question made Jin Bingyu very uncomfortable. She frowned. He's is who I like. I came here to find him. Then Zhen Bingyu turned to leave. She didn't like talking to Nya Shuangshuang. There was no point. Nya Shuangshuang gave her the feeling of someone she didn't want to be friends with. Nya Shuangshuang got up and looked at Zhen Bingyu's disappearing figure. Suddenly, she felt her entire body shake. She was a Tao actualization divine emperor, but she couldn't control her body from shaking. In order to vindicate her greatest Tao, she severed her pastimes and ambushed Yemo. However, Yemo wasn't killed, and many years later, she couldn't even look up to him. This was the stepping stone to her great Tao. A bitter scorn came up to her mouth. Compared to Yemo, who was above primordial essence, Nya Shuangshuang felt her great Tao was a joke. Even that Jin Bingyu was many times stronger than her. When Yemo's name was mentioned like that, Jin Bingyu would get up to fight for Yemo. Meanwhile, she had liked Yemo too and just sealed those things. But what did she do? Yemo took her to the immortal realm and sent her to an immortal king who could save her. He was still worried about her and found his way all the way to Ice God Palace. Just how hard was it for an ordinary immortal to find it there? However, she didn't even think about this. How she repaid Yemo was by tricking Yemo into her room and pulling down the Ice God formation. Yemo was fine under there, meaning his cultivation level was definitely beyond Immortal King. That meant that Yemo could have gone to the Ice God Palace for revenge, but Yemo never went. Nya Shuangshuang suddenly felt sad. She would rather Yemo come to her for revenge. Yemo didn't do that, meaning he didn't even have hate for her. Perhaps in Yemo's mind, there was no longer Nya Shuangshuang. Jin Bingyu was many times better than her. She was very powerful, but she didn't need to sever love to vindicate her Tao. At this moment, she would rather she was Nya Shuangshuang who never recovered her memories. She would still rather be that innocent Nya Shuangshuang. She knew that the moment she pulled down the formation, she had lost everything. Some lost things could be found, but some lost things would never come back. Nya Shuangshuang suddenly thought of the song she heard at the Qingwei Abyssal River. Yesterday is gone forever. Happiness is more precious than anything. The spilt water can't be taken back. When she first heard this song, she thought it was another earthling who came to the immortal realm. But now, she realized that Yemo sang that song. She remembered this song because at the bar in Beijing, she sat with Yemo and the song played in the bar. Nya Shuangshuang was lost in her thought. After a long while, she got up, but then she realized that even if she went back to the divine Tao realm, she wouldn't be able to get back to the Qingwei Abyssal River. She sighed and looked at the busy Immortal Rest Tower. Her heart was empty. In the Golden Page world, Qi Wanqing, who was Immortal King primary stage, and Mu Xiaoyun, who was Tao Nourishment, sat facing each other but had no mood for cultivation. Ever since Mu Xiaoyun vindicated Tao, she made no progress. She was worried about Emo. Emo hadn't come to the Golden Page world for this long. Small Ginseng, Shadowless and Xiao Rang knew the masters weren't happy and moved to the side. They were very worried about Emo, but without Emo's permission they couldn't even scan their spirit sense out, much less go outside. Martial Sister Xiaoyun, Martial Sister Wanqing. I'm certain that Brother Yi is fine. Otherwise, the Golden Page world wouldn't be fine. If there was someone who could do anything to Brother Yi, how could he not spirit control the Golden Page world after all these years? We've been fine in the Golden Page world, meaning that Brother Yi is fine. Qing Ru comforted. She had reached Tao molding Divine Emperor. She had been comforting Qi Wanqing and Mu Xiaoyun these years. She was a bit worried too. We'll wait for another while. If there's still no news of husband, I'm going to think of a way to leave here, Mu Xiaoyun said firmly. The other two didn't talk, clearly agreeing to her. MOU Immortal Sect. It was sect in the low heaven domain, but it was the biggest sect of the 33 heavens. The MOU Immortal Sect was filled with people. Luoying was sitting at the top. Next to her was Song Yangzhu, Ning Qingxue and Su Jingguan. Su Yuehua, Su Ping, Li Yuqian, Yiling, Tang Beiwei, Lin Yiban, Su Tong, Shirtai, Su Xianxia, Gujida were all here. Even Lu Feng, Hong Ling, Yin Hui and them were here. Emo's head looked low. She sat in one corner as though she was just told off. Luoying said slowly, Emo set up MOU City on Luoyu continent and then MOU Immortal Sect in Gonghua Heaven. What's the purpose of this? It's not to show off. He did this so we can gather together. Now, other than people who haven't ascended from MOU City, the rest are all gathered here. Luoying then looked at Emo and said, "It's easy to go to the Divine Tao realm from MOU Immortal Sect, but what happens if you go there? Do you want Emo to look for you guys again? Emo, you can reach Immortal Emperor. Other than your talent, you should think about how many cultivation resources you got. Jingguan, you're the same. These cultivation resources are all brought back by Emo. This is why the MOU Immortal Sect is more powerful than other sections." Emo groaned, "Auntie Susu, why could Sister Bingyu go to Divine Tao realm?" Luoying sighed but still explained, "She's different to us. She's not a part of the MOU Immortal Sect, so she can go. From now on, I'm not allowing MOU Immortal Sect to go to the Divine Tao realm until Emo comes back. Even if you go to the Divine Tao realm, you might not get more cultivation resources. The Divine Tao realm is broken and cultivation resources are lacking." In a space sealed for unknown years, Little Blue finally pulled out the God Slaughter Gray Spear. He had been melting this spear for nearly 1,000 years and finally melted most of it. Then he pulled the spear. The God Slaughter Gray Spear was a primordial spirit artifact, but now Little Blue threw it on the side like trash. Little Blue's attention was focused on Emo. As soon as the spear was pulled away, Emo's injuries were instantly filled by the Chaos Tree's life force. Before the life force emitted by the Chaos Tree and the destruction of the God Slaughter Gray Spear formed a balance. Without the Chaos Tree, countless Emos would have turned to dust. Now that the God Slaughter Gray Spear was pulled away, Emo's life force rapidly recovered. But soon Little Blue noticed something wrong. Emo's life force and body were repaired, but Emo still floated in this space, having no signs of waking up. This time, Little Blue was truly worried. He thought pulling the God Slaughter Gray Spear away would wake Emo. In reality, that was the only thing Little Blue could do. Little Blue saw a subtle tree behind Emo. It immediately thought of the Chaos Tree and quickly called, "Big Tree, I've done all I can. The rest is up to you. If you still can't wake boss up, you're too shit." Little Blue learned most of his language with Shadowless and Small Ginseng. However, the Chaos Tree didn't disappoint Little Blue. Even if Little Blue didn't speak, the Chaos Tree intended to help. A boundless tree appeared not far behind Emo. It emitted endless life force and chaos tree. These chi were all sent into Yimo's body. Yimo's completely destroyed foundation nirvana'd. His meridian and sea of consciousness reformed. After a light cracking sound, Yimo woke up. Instantly, Yimo realized that the chaos tree was rebuilding his foundation through nirvana. He forgot he had the chaos tree. Other people's foundation may never be recovered after being destroyed, but that didn't include him. The chaos tree was the number tree across countless realms. It was born with the universe. What couldn't it do? Plus, this chaos tree went through nirvana just like him. It knew how to build his foundation better. Yimo didn't want to think about anything else. He cooperated with the chaos tree and life force, rebuilding his foundation and sea of consciousness. His power was recovering, he was getting stronger. The sea of consciousness went through nirvana, void, and the life and death nirvana. Now, Yimo's spirit will 9 transformations reached the 8th level samsara. Immediately, Yimo's sea of consciousness stabilized. His spirit sense could easily pierce out this void. Yimo forced down his surprise and joy. He was still at Tao essence power, but there was a fundamental change to his sea of consciousness. He could even penetrate this restricted space with his spirit sense. This meant that his spirit sense was beyond ordinary primordial essence divine emperor. His cultivation level was still rising. Countless Tao laws were brought over by the chaos tree, letting Yimo constantly learn. Tao essence peak stage, half primordial essence. When Yimo's Tao was at half primordial essence, he resolutely cut off the insertion of life force and chaos chi from the chaos tree. Yimo got up and looked at the chaos tree behind him that was less than 3 meters tall. He felt very sad. If he didn't suddenly wake up, that chaos tree might turn back into that sapling. He didn't need to sacrifice the chaos tree to vindicate his Tao. He had his own Tao. The chaos tree helped him reach half primordial essence and repaired his foundation. He was very grateful and satisfied. With his current power, he would definitely not be heavily injured like this if he fought the 5 primordial essence divine emperors again. Yimo took out the remaining chaos chi from the golden page world and gave it to the chaos tree without hesitation. Then, he took the chaos tree into his sea of consciousness. Seeing all the floating magic artifact, storage ring and truth spirit world, Yimo didn't know if this battle was worth it. No one would be able to get all these things through 1,000 years of solitary cultivation. Yimo took these things and picked up the golden arrow of divine extermination that pinned Fengguang. He kicked Fengguang's skull away and said to Little Blue, "Thanks to you, Little Blue." Yimo didn't completely die. He had some impression of Little Blue melting and pulling the god slaughter gray spear. "I didn't lose anything. I also ate a god flame. It tastes ordinary," Little Blue said. Then, it seemed to think of something and pointed at the half-melted god slaughter gray spear. "Boss, this spear is melted, but it's not simple." He thought that since Boss liked collecting magic artifacts so much, why didn't it like the spear? Yimo glanced at the god slaughter gray spear. "I don't like this spear and I don't want to repair it. Let's go, Little Blue." Yimo took Little Blue and tore open the void here. When his spirit sense scanned Nianyan, she was Tao actualization peak stage. He sighed. He had ever seen someone more talented than Nianyan. In just 1,000 years, she was Tao actualization peak stage. However, after he killed Fengguang, he didn't plan to see her. He just wanted to leave here quickly. "Wan Qing, I seem to have felt husband's qi just then." Mu Xiaoyun suddenly got up and said. Before Wan Qing could speak, she heard Yimo's voice. "Xiaoyun, you're right. I'm back." Mu Xiaoyun suddenly turned around, and when she truly saw Yimo next to her, she hugged Yimo tightly, calling, "Husband." Yimo touched Mu Xiaoyun's hair. "Xiaoyun, your progress isn't great. Wan Qing, I didn't expect you're immortal king already. We'll go back to the immortal realm together and I'll take you to the title tablet square for king naming." Yimo saw Wan Qing's eyes were red. Clearly, she was very worried about him. Brother Yi, as long as you're back," Wan Qing said. After Yimo spoke with Mu Xiaoyun and Wan Qing, Qing Ru came over. Then, small ginseng and shadowless ran over. Yimo felt surprised why Qing Ru was still Tao molding divine emperor. And he also felt an extremely familiar Tao wave on Qing Ru. However, this involved Qing Ru's Dao path, so he didn't ask. After talking for a while, the group left the Golden Page world and came to Yi Mo's MOU boat. Of course, it was shadowless and small ginseng controlling it. EMO and them chatted for a while, letting them enjoy the vast void view. EMO went to check his loot. In the Golden Page world, EMO looked at the pile of extreme grade God Spirit range and was completely dazed. These primordial essence divine emperors were too wealthy. EMO found nearly 300 billion God crystals. Compared to the countless materials, magic artifact and God Spirit herbs, these God crystals were nothing. This wealth truly shocked EMO. Just how long would he need to concoct and forge to use them all? Plus, there were mountains of magic artifacts. Did he even need to forge any? What gave EMO the greatest surprise was Zhuge Jichen's thing. When EMO picked up the landscape painting scroll, this was a primordial spirit artifact. However, EMO also found a chaos space magic artifact. It was a gourd and inside was all abstruse yellow qi. EMO sighed. He wasn't the only one with great fortune. Zhuge Jichen was rather young, but he was primordial essence divine emperor and had this many good things. If he didn't die, these abstruse yellow qi was enough to help him form a 5-element world. However, he died to little blue. EMO looked down on when Desui the most, but he gave EMO an even bigger surprise. EMO found the last golden arrow of divine extermination in his truth spirit world. Finally, EMO's set was complete. No wonder when Desui wanted the golden arrow of divine extermination. He already had one. EMO collected these things and had decided to go back to the divine Dao realm first. Repairing the divine Dao realm required primordial essence power. He was only half a step from primordial essence. The chaos tree was on him, but it was quite withered due to helping him. However, the abstruse yellow qi would help. He just needed to find the missing piece of the world mountain and then spirit control the entire world mountain. Boss, we're about to reach the void marketplace. Should we go in? Shadowless felt extremely satisfied controlling the MOU boat. Let's have a look. Since they were going past it, EMO wanted to go in and look. Xinghong helped him a lot. Although he helped Xinghong a lot too, EMO was still very grateful to Xinghong. Taishu Luan, long time no see. As soon as EMO entered the void marketplace, he saw a black-robed man. EMO immediately recognized this person. It was Taishu Luan who dealt the primordial essence dawn fruit with him. Taishu Luan was previously God rank number 1, but he had long reached Dao essence now. It's you. Taishu Shi looked at EMO in shock. There was a few people behind EMO and even an ice ginseng king. EMO was half primordial essence now. He didn't even fear primordial essence divine emperor, so when he entered the void marketplace, he took Shadowless and them out. The void marketplace was very busy. Although the Golden Page world was good, it would get boring if you spent too much time inside. Plus, they have been staying inside for more than 1,000 years. That's right, it's me. I'm as nice as before. EMO smiled at Taishu Luan. When Taishu Luan left, he threatened him that they would meet again. Hearing this, Taishu Luan's face went stale, but he wasn't worried. He saluted with his fists and said, I'm no match for you now. I take back my threat to you before. However, after I reach primordial essence, I still hope to see you again. Seeing meant fighting. Clearly, he had heard of EMO's fame. EMO smiled. Then come find me when you're primordial essence. Don't disappoint me. Okay. Taishu Luan turned and left. After walking a few steps, he said, Pill Divine Yi, I admire you a lot. At least you're not fake. Brother Yi, what did he mean? Qi Wanqing asked in confusion. EMO smiled. He thinks his things are very precious, but I don't even consider it valuable. EMO knew that Taishu Luan had at least another primordial essence dawn fruit, but EMO didn't even mention it. Clearly, he didn't want it at all. Shadowless looked at the busy streets of the void marketplace and almost danced in joy. He loved this place. Boss, can you give me some god crystals and let me take Cho Rang and small ginseng for a spin? Shadowless looked at EMO pitifully. Qing Ru had been in the Golden Page world for this many years and knew Shadowless and them very well. She smiled and said, Why don't I take them out? Emo thought that although the void marketplace was big and there were so many restrictions, they couldn't stop his spirit sense at all, so he nodded, okay. But Shadowless, remember this. If you dare to start trouble in the void marketplace, then only small ginseng and chorang would be coming out. You will have no hope. Boss, I understand. I promise I won't start trouble. Shadowless said and went out before even waiting for Qingru. Qingru got a storage ring from Emo and followed Shadowless and them. Emo's face changed. What happened? Husband? Mu Xiaoyun quickly asked. I'm going to the God Rank Square. Come over immediately. Emo said and then disappeared. Where is the God Rank Square? Qi Wanqing looked at Mu Xiaoyun in confusion. Mu Xiaoyun pulled Qi Wanqing's hand and said, I know. Follow me. Bingyu, how are you here? Emo's voice sounded before he landed. He saw Zhen Bingyu face multiple divine emperors alone. There were even 2 Dao Essence divine emperors. There were a few divine emperors on Zhen Bingyu's side, but they looked weaker. Both sides were emanating with killing intent. Clearly, they would be fighting at any time. Although Zhen Bingyu was Dao actualization, she might be instantly killed facing a few Dao essences. However, Emo was still shocked that Zhen Bingyu's cultivation level progressed this quickly. You? Zhen Bingyu immediately saw Emo. This instant, her eyes were filled with joy and excitement. She had been to the Void Marketplace countless times as Emo last came to the Void Marketplace before disappearing. She wanted to see if she could find Emo here, and now she really did. Emo felt Zhen Bingyu's eyes and temperament change. He didn't know what this change was, but it was different than before. More unexpectedly, Zhen Bingyu suddenly collected her killing intent and charged up to Emo, hugging him. Emo could even feel she was shaking. Emo dazed. How could Zhen Bingyu have such avid emotions? This wasn't right. She was completely different to her cold look before. This aroma and soft body squeezed into Emo's arms. Emo, who was caught off guard, felt some heat. What appeared in his mind was Zhen Bingyu taking off her clothes. However, now that Zhen Bingyu was wearing clothes, he felt more heat than before. I want to do the things that flesh and bodies do. Zhen Bingyu's whisper sounded by Emo's ear that exploded Emo's mind. He was almost about to take Zhen Bingyu away immediately, but he quickly calmed down. He instantly understood Zhen Bingyu's change. Her Dao changed. Her Dao went from emotionless Dao to emotional Dao. This was related to him. Emo really understood why Zhen Bingyu wanted to make love to him. It wasn't that she really wanted to do that, but because she wanted to help him reach divine body. It wasn't strange for Dao partners to embrace each other in the void marketplace. However, it was strange that Emo and Zhen Bingyu embraced together. With Zhen Bingyu's look, no one could find a woman prettier than her in the void marketplace. Yet such a goddess hugged with a man in front of everyone. Zhen Bingyu felt Emo's reaction and was overjoyed. She finally sensed Emo caring about her. But soon, Emo patted Zhen Bingyu's back and said, Bingyu, what's going on? Why did you almost fight those little beasts? Emo pointed at the divine emperors at a standoff with her. Husband, brother Yi. Mu Xiaoyun and Qi Wanqing came over. Zhen Bingyu woke up from the excitement, but her heart was still skipping fast. She finally felt it. Even though she was a Dao actualization divine emperor, she couldn't suppress that feeling with her power. Bingyu, this is my wife Mu Xiaoyun. This is Qi Wanqing. Emo introduced. It's Pill Divine Yi. As they spoke, people already recognized him. Emo saluted with his fists to the surrounding. That's right. I'm Emo. Then Emo asked, Bingyu, what was going on? So you're Pill Divine Yi. I'm Aquarius race Rue Guang. This immortal friend Zhang had no respect for elders. She was extremely rude. A tall man saluted with his fists and said, Haha, extremely rude. Another human Dao actualization stood out and scorned before saluting with his fists to Emo Yi Qianbei. The Dao actualization divine emperor next to Rue Guang scorned Qianbei at the Void Immortal Rest Tower Square. He said that Qianbei can only escape in the wake of primordial essence divine emperor. Goddess Bingyu disagreed and challenged him. The Divine Emperor didn't dare to agree, but then Rui Guang suddenly came to the Void Marketplace and stopped Goddess Bingyu here, wanting to teach her a lesson for disrespecting Aquarius race Dao Essence Divine Emperor. Emo realized what happened. Zhun Bingyu's Dao heart changed, but her character wouldn't change. She wouldn't start trouble for no reason. The main reason she got angry was probably because of the Aquarius race sneering at him. Emo had seen this Rui Guang on the Divine Rank Square. He was ranked 9th amongst Dao Essence Divine Emperor. Pil Divine Yi. When the Aquarius race army attacked the Divine Dao realm, Deshui Divine Emperor considered the long-time friendship of our two race. Despite having a complete advantage, the Aquarius race retreated. Before he finished, Rui Guang felt he couldn't move at all. Did the Aquarius race attack the Divine Dao realm? Emo's ice-cold voice fell into the ears of the Dao Essence Divine Emperor. Rui Guang completely forgot to answer. There was only shock in his heart. He was the 9th-ranked Dao Essence Divine Emperor. He could even kill ordinary half-primordial essence. He thought Emo was only a bit stronger than him. However, he couldn't even more in front of Emo. How could this huge difference not shock him? Yi Qianbei. The Aquarius race did indeed attack the Divine Dao realm 1,000 years ago. They killed nearly 1,000 people of the Divine Dao realm. For some reason, they suddenly left despite having the complete advantage. At the time, it was Yao Pu and half-primordial essence Ma Hong leading the army. The human Dao actualization explained again. Emo's face went cold. He couldn't be bothered listening anymore and waved out a lightning spear. This 1-kilometer lightning spear appeared out of nowhere. This Dao essence could only watch as the spear smashed towards his body. Instantly, his soul was annihilated. He collected the loot and said to the other Aquarius race Divine Emperor, "Piss off and tell your race. I will soon go visit the Aquarius race." The other Aquarius Divine Emperors didn't dare to say a thing. Rui Guang was the #1 Dao essence of their race, and yet he was killed by Emo like an insect. Pil Divine Yi is so dominant. A bleak voice sounded, and then a square-faced man appeared. His Dao wave flowed. Clearly, he was a primordial essence Divine Emperor. His hair stood up like metal pins. Before Emo finished, a few more people landed. The first to land was a young man. He was extremely handsome and also Dao essence. Emo felt a similar Dao wave to Zhuge Jichin from him. Since he was related to Zhuge Jichin, he was definitely from the beast race. This square-faced man was probably from the beast race too. He didn't expect beast race to have 2 primordial essence Divine Emperor. The 2 people who came later were Kong Han Divine Emperor and Peng Yuan. They were both half primordial essence. "Greet Pil Divine Yi." The 2 quickly bowed. Peng Yuan was more respectful. Ever since leaving the Dragon Palace, he felt very scared of Emo. The square fell silent with the arrival of the primordial essence Divine Emperor. Emo was very powerful, but on the surface he wasn't primordial essence Divine Emperor yet. Plus, many things about Emo was stories. Even though Emo killed the 9th-ranked Dao Essence Divine Emperor, Rui Guang was still a Dao Essence Divine Emperor. A primordial essence Divine Emperor can easily kill the strongest Dao Essence Divine Emperor. Pil Divine Yi. Why would you suddenly appear here after disappearing for so many years? This square-faced primordial essence saw that Emo ignored him and his face sunk. Emo said calmly, "What does that have to do with you? Who do you think you are?" Hearing this, the primordial essence immediately emitted killing intent. The nearby Divine Emperors below Dao Essence were easily pushed away, but when this lethal force came before Emo, it was turned to nothing. Seeing the 2 about to fight, Kong Han quickly bowed, "Pil Divine Yi. This is Beast Race Primordial Essence Divine Emperor Fan Gao." Emo knew that Kong Han was worried about 2 Primordial Essence Divine Emperors fighting here. Emo interrupted, "Immortal friend Kong Han, don't worry. Even if I fight, it won't be here. Emo, my uncle went to find you. Why are you here? Why hasn't my uncle appeared?" That handsome Dao Essence Divine Emperor couldn't resist asking. "Are you a dog keeper? You lose your dog and you come asking me?" Emo sneered. The Dao Essence's face went bad. His killing intent was also bursting out. However, Fan Gao said, "Tianhua, don't worry. At this moment, this primordial essence calmed down instead. Emo knew that it wasn't Fangao's temper improving, but he felt his power. This handsome Dao essence was called Tianhua. He was probably Divine Dao rank number 2, Zhuge Tianhua. Till Divine Yi are Beast Race Primordial Essence Divine Emperor Zhuge Jichin, and Aquarius Race Wen Deshui, as well as Demon Race Primordial Essence Divine Emperor Pu Yangxi and Dragon Race Primordial Essence Divine Emperor Ao. She disappeared at the same time. Now that you appeared, but they haven't. I hope you can give us a resolution. I know you won't now. 100 years later, the 4 races will go ask at the Divine Dao realm. As for the conflict between Pil Divine Yi and the Aquarius race, the Beast race will take it. Fangao pulled Zhuge Tianhua, let's go. We'll seek an answer 100 years later. Before Emo could respond, he took Zhuge Tianhua and left, soon disappearing from the void. The surrounding people saw that even Fangao didn't dare to fight Emo and immediately knew that the tales were true. Emo was truly a primordial essence divine emperor. Emo didn't care. He knew why Fangao decided 100 years. Zhuge Tianhua was Dao essence peak stage. He definitely would be able to reach primordial essence in 100 years. He was also going to use these 100 years to contact the other races and attack the Divine Dao realm together. Emo had decided to use this 100 years to get a few helpers. That Zhao Dan was good. As for Len Shuachi and Tang Tsongyin, even if they couldn't help him, he must ensure they won't be invited by the other races. Now, he had to go back to the Divine Dao realm and understand how much power they had. Pil Divine Yi, last time you came to the Void Marketplace, we didn't greet you well. If Pil Divine Yi. Emo knew Kong Han wanted to invite him over, but he rejected. Thank you, immortal friend Kong Han, but it will have to wait till next time. I'm leaving the Void Marketplace now. An extreme grade flying god artifact left the Void Marketplace and charged into the void. Fangao, who just left, stood at the front of the ship, but he was very calm. He didn't seem angry at all. Zhuge Tianhua stood next to him and also seemed very calm. Divine Emperor, was my uncle really ambushed by Emo? Zhuge Tianhua asked seriously. Fangao thought for a long while before saying, I'm not certain if Emo is primordial essence divine emperor yet or not, but I'm certain he's no weaker than me. 1,000 years ago, his power was definitely not at this level. Even Pu Yangxi would be no weaker than him, much less Jichin. I would definitely not believe that Emo can kill 4 primordial essence divine emperor face to face. But that Emo is very cunning and experienced in formation. If Emo ambushed them, there's a sliver of possibility. However, I'm certain that Emo knows something about them 4 disappearing as they disappeared at the same time. Zhuge Tianhua opened his mouth but didn't keep asking. Did you want to ask why I didn't take him out at the square? Fangao saw this. Zhuge Tianhua nodded. Yes, you're stronger than my uncle. With Yemo's power, we should be able to take him. Fangao shook his head. You underestimate him too much. He left easily with 5 primordial essence divine emperors going after him at the Dragon Palace. Even if evenly matched with him, you wouldn't be able to stop him. Plus, if we fight with Emo at the square, it would hinder us seeking help from other races. Other people would think we lost to Emo and then we went to them for help. This would put the beast race at a disadvantage. Of course, this is just one of the reasons. Does Divine Emperor want me to reach primordial essence within 100 years? Zhuge Tianhua asked. Fangao nodded. That's right. Regardless, it's no small matter that primordial essence divine emperors of the 4 race disappeared going after Emo. Perhaps they had conflict over the Chaos Green Lotus, or perhaps they were ambushed by Emo. The beast race only has me as primordial essence divine emperor other than Jichin. The demon race is mysterious. I'm certain they still have 1 or 2 primordial essence divine emperors left. Didn't you see that as soon as Pu Yangxi disappeared, Yuanzhou jumped out? As for the dragon race, they have even greater foundations. Other than Ao Shi, they definitely have more than just Ao Luan. As for the Aquarius race, although they have a lot of Dao essence divine emperors, I'm certain the only primordial essence divine emperor is Deshui. Read latest chapters at l.isnovel.com. If you vindicate primordial essence, then no matter how scary the Emo is, I can fight him feeling assured. Otherwise, I would be very limited. I understand. Where are we going now? Zhuge Tianhua answered. Fan Go said, of course the demon race. I heard the demon race has a saint who is Tao Essence peak stage power just like you. I'll take you to see the demon race primordial essence divine emperor. It's best that we can have a marriage alliance before fighting Yemo. Zhuge Tianhua didn't object. Small Ginseng, Shadowless and Xiao Rang followed Qingru and happily wandered the streets of Void Marketplace. Although Small Ginseng was Ice Ginseng King, no divine emperors at the Void Marketplace were idiots. How could an Ice Ginseng King who dared to roam the streets be simple? Plus, Shadowless had this powerful dragon chi. No one dared to mess with them. Some people have already found out that Small Ginseng and them came with Pill Divine Yi to the Void Marketplace. Martial sister Qingru? In a joyful voice, Nia Shuangshuang appeared before Qingru. Qingru was happy to be able to see someone she knew at the Void Marketplace. She didn't really like Nia Shuangshuang's Dao. She felt Nia Shuangshuang was too cold and emotionless. Saint Shuangshuang, I didn't expect to see you here, Qingru said. Hearing Qingru still call her saint and not martial sister, Nia Shuangshuang's eyes dimmed a little but she soon recovered. Martial sister Qingru, you're also a Dao molding divine emperor after all these years. After pausing for a moment, Nia Shuangshuang asked, Martial sister Qingru, can I talk to you privately? Qingru glanced at Shadowless and them. Before she could speak, Shadowless called, Qingru boss, go do what you need to do. Small Ginseng and Qiurang are protected by me. They're definitely fine. Boss. Nia Shuangshuang stared at Shadowless in shock. She didn't understand how a goddess like Qingru became a boss. Plus, why did she feel Shadowless was familiar? He looked like her immortal pet. Okay then. Qingru saw that Shadowless and them were excited and didn't want to disappoint them. In a small immortal rest tower, as soon as they sat down, Nia Shuangshuang asked, Martial sister Qingru, when I activated the ice god formation, did you break open it? Qingru knew what NSS wanted to say and nodded. Nia Shuangshuang fell silent for a long while and asked, did you look down on what I did, so you didn't want to go back to the ice god palace? Qingru nodded and still didn't speak. Nia Shuangshuang bit her lips and suddenly said, Martial sister Qingru, thank you for opening it. Qingru suddenly got up and smiled. Even if I didn't open it, it wouldn't be able to do anything to Yemo. I'm going, take care. Nia Shuangshuang got up too. Martial sister Qingru, did you come here alone? No, I came with Yemo. Qingru felt she didn't need to hide this. Yemo, he's at the Void Marketplace too? Nia Shuangshuang suddenly felt her throat becoming dry. Qingru sighed, yes, he's here. I'm going. Seeing Qingru get to the door, Nia Shuangshuang finally reacted and asked shakily again, what's that dragon horse-looking god beast? That's Yemo's god beast. It mutated from Shadowless bug. It's probably from the dragon race. Qingru suddenly felt Nia Shuangshuang was pitiful. She vindicated Dao, but what difference was this Dao vindication to not vindicating Dao? Thinking about this, she took out an exquisite extreme-grade flying immortal artifact and said, Yemo gave me this, you should have it. Then Qingru left, leaving the dazed Nia Shuangshuang. Nia Shuangshuang's brain was in a compelled mess. Shadowless bug? Was the two frosty eggs Shadowless bug? She saved Yemo and had her soul frozen by that huge egg. It was because of that Yemo took her to the immortal realm. Her egg also turned into a cute immortal pet. Nia Shuangshuang woke up but found that Qingru was gone. She picked up the ship and suddenly noticed the words at the tail of the ship, Shuangshuang's immortal ship. Nia Shuangshuang finally realized why Qingru said Yemo gave her this. Yemo definitely prepared this ship for her, but she ambushed him. Yemo was extremely disappointed and gave the ship to Qingru. Now Qingru gave it back to him. Nia Shuangshuang's hands were shaky. She suddenly really wanted to go see Yemo, but she knew she had no face to see him. Small Ginseng, I quite like this. In front of a stall, Shadowless grabbed a gray wood into his hand. What is it? Small Ginseng and Xiao Rang squeezed over. Shadowless laughed, you won't understand even if I tell you. Small Ginseng, just pay the god crystals. Stall owner, how much is this wood? The stall owner was only a Dao nourishment divine emperor. He could tell Shadowless was interested in this. His eyes spun and he said, God Beast Master. Everything I have here is the best. This thing is just 1,000,000 God crystals. Not expensive. This is good, Shadowless said. The stall owner immediately realized that he made the price too low despite raising it 10 times. He should have asked for 5,000,000. Now that Shadowless grabbed this and said this was good, many people came to watch immediately. Small Ginseng felt around for a while and said with a bitter face, God crystals are with Sister Qingru. I have no God crystals. What are you doing? Why don't you have God crystals? I won't take you out to play next time. Qiu Rang, hurry up and ask Qingru boss for God crystals. I'm waiting for you here, Shadowless ordered. Someone checked the gray wood in Shadowless's hands with spirit sense. God Beast Immortal Friend, can you show me this wood? A Tao actualization Divine Emperor saluted with his fists. Shadowless immediately grabbed the wood tightly. No. I've already bought this. You haven't paid God crystals yet. This thing doesn't belong to you. Are you going to forcefully buy? That Tao actualization Divine Emperor said. Small Ginseng murmured, you have no experience. You didn't even buy the thing and you're saying it's good. When Yemo saw Shadowless, he saw a blue light grab at the wood Shadowless clutched. Without hesitation, Yemo broke through space and grabbed it too. Thud. The space around Shadowless was smashed open by 2 giant essence chi hands. Even the stall before Shadowless turned to dust. Luckily, these 2 giant hands didn't let the essence chi expand. Even though Shadowless reached God Tao, he was smashed away by this terrifying explosion. The surrounding Divine Emperors were all pushed away by a powerful space force. Boss, you're here. Shadowless stood dustily and looked at Yemo. He saw Boss grab a gray wood. At the same time, he saw a green-robed strange who stood before him. He was the person who tried to rob his wood. This green-robed person wasn't simple to be able to fight over the wood block with Boss. The surrounding people also realized that Yemo and the green-robed person weren't simple. Plus, some people recognized Yemo. At this moment, Small Ginseng and Qiu Rang, who were sent flying away, finally came back. Give me the wood! The green-robed man was shocked. He really didn't expect someone to attack later and still rob the thing. Since when did the human race have such powerful person? But he only finished half a sentence before stopping. He dazedly looked at Yemo and subconsciously asked, It's you. He seemed to have seen Yemo before. Yemo wasn't going to hand out what he got. He put away the wood block and looked at him. You know me? I don't know you. I've never seen you. The green-robed man immediately said and tore open space. He was extremely shocked. Yemo was only a truth realization state level 8 little cultivator and now he was on par with him. How many years has it been? How insane was this guy? The nearby Divine Emperors saw someone easily tear open the space at the void marketplace and immediately held their breath. No one dared to talk. All those who could tear open space here was definitely Primordial Essence Divine Emperor. Yemo clearly had the upper hand to be able to fight over something with that person and make that person not dare to fight back. Clearly Yemo was a Primordial Essence Divine Emperor too. From this, one could see that the gray wood was something good but no one dared to ask. How much is your stall? I'll compensate you. Yemo looked at the Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor. 30 million. The Divine Emperor answered carefully. Even if Yemo didn't say this, he didn't dare to ask for compensation. Yemo took out a storage ring and said, This is yours. Now Zhen Bingyu, Mu Xiaoyun and Qi Wanqing walked over. The last was Qingru. When she saw Zhen Bingyu, who was on par with her in beauty, she sighed suddenly and slowed down her footsteps. Let's go. Yemo looked at them and said. Then he waved to Qingru. Qingru, hurry, we're going. Qingru sped up and hesitated for a moment before saying, Brother Yi, I want to stay at the Void Marketplace and venture alone just like Fu Fei. Perhaps that way I would be able to find the Tao suitable to me. Mu Xiaoyun immediately asked in shock, Qingru, didn't we agree on going back to the Divine Tao realm together? Why did you suddenly? Qi Wanqing was more sensitive than Mu Xiaoyun. She subconsciously glanced at Zhen Bingyu and looked at Qingru. She found that these two were on par in beauty. Qing Ru suddenly wanted to stay in Void Marketplace. This was definitely related to Zhen Bingyu, but she didn't want to say this. Emo didn't expect this too, but he soon understood Qing Ru's choice. Staying with him would mean she wouldn't experience dangers. She wasn't anything to him. It was very awkward for her to stay with him like this. Thinking about this, Emo took out a storage ring to Qing Ru. Since you want to stay in the Void Marketplace, of course I will respect your will. There's some cultivation resources in there and a god rune bead. It has 3 god runes inside. It's for you too. Nie Shuangshuang stood at one corner and saw Emo and them leave the Void Marketplace. She suddenly felt a little lost. At this moment, she thought about the ice grave she left at the Ice God Palace. She thought of the words she left behind. Don't think about the past. Work hard on vindicating Tao essence and then go back to the Ice God Palace and see. A soft voice interrupted Nie Shuangshuang. Martial sister Qing Ru. How is it you? Nie Shuangshuang turned around and looked at Qing Ru in disbelief. Before Qing Ru could answer, she desperately asked Martial sister Qing Ru, you came with Emo to the Void Marketplace, why didn't you leave with him? Are you not his woman? Nie Shuangshuang suddenly felt she was speaking too vulgarly. She should have said Tao partner. Qing Ru smiled. Does his woman have to stay next to him? He has his own thing to do. I've vindicated Tao now and I have my own things to do. Huh? Nie Shuangshuang dazed again. She didn't expect Qing Ru to have advertently admitted it. Above Mo U-boat, everyone circulated around Emo. Qiu Rang asked desperately, Boss, what is that block of wood? Shadowless. How did you recognize this wood? Emo looked at Shadowless in confusion. This wood almost turned into an extremely ordinary spirit wood. Shadowless said awkwardly, I felt this thing was very tasty, so I wanted to eat it. Emo was speechless. It was Shadowless's instinct to eat. He took out the wood again. This is the tree heart of the Chaos Tree. I don't know why the Chaos Tree heart would be in a small stall in the Void Marketplace. He didn't know if the green-robed person recognized it too, but if he did, he was definitely a primordial essence divine emperor who had come in contact with the Chaos Tree. Emo's words immediately shocked everyone. Chaos Tree heart? This was no simple thing. Qi Wanqing and them looked at Emo in confusion. The Chaos Tree was on Emo. How could there be such ancient tree heart? This is probably the tree heart of the Chaos Tree before Nirvana. It was broken up by a few primordial essence divine emperor and dispersed into the universe. I got the Nirvana seed of the Chaos Tree. The other parts of the tree spread elsewhere. Emo sighed. Boss, can you use this tree heart to upgrade the Chaos Tree again? Small Ginseng immediately asked. Emo put away the tree heart and said, Indeed, but I have a better use for it. The Chaos Tree heart with abstruse yellow qi and repair the life force of the divine Tao realm and prevent the god spirit qi spilling. What a pity, Small Ginseng murmured. He was closest to Yemo's Chaos Tree. Emo got up and said, I'm going inside to forge realm protecting formation flags. After returning to the divine Tao realm, I will set up a realm protection formation. Shadowless, Small Ginseng and Xiu Rang control the ship. Then, Emo waved open a space door. You guys can enter the Golden Page world from here at any time. I'll go in too. Seeing Emo go in, Zhen Bingyu quickly followed. Bingyu, this is for you. There are some Tao fruits and cultivation resources you need. With these, Tao essence won't be distant for you, Emo said. Zhen Bingyu came in wanting to help Emo reach divine body, but before she could speak she was dazed by the scene inside. Streams of God spirit range stacked up in mountains. Endless mountain ranges, rivers, oceans, grass plains, deserts. Under Shadowless and their management, the Golden Page world was far from the world it was before. There were also immortal spirit beasts running in certain locations. Most importantly, Zhen Bingyu saw the expansion of the cosmos. She even saw a sun hidden in the clouds. This definitely wasn't a small world nor a truth spirit world. It wasn't even 5-element world. This was a real chaos world. Then, she saw yellow middle plum that was full of fruits. She saw great primordial god rune fruit. She saw bitter bamboo. Even though Zhen Bingyu was a Tao actualization divine emperor, She was dazed by this scene. She wouldn't even dare to dream of. This is Chaos World? After a long while, Zhen Bingyu asked in shock. Emo nodded. Yes, you can live in here too. This is our world. Emo had some feelings for Zhen Bingyu. He thought about her more than once. Zhen Bingyu was completely different to Qing Ru in his heart. When he left things for Luo Ying and them, he would think of Zhen Bingyu. When he saw Zhen Bingyu and she wanted to make love with him, this made Emo have much less concerns. However, he didn't plan to do that yet. It would at least be after he saw Luo Ying. Zhen Bingyu wasn't dumb, and she knew that Emo had more than one partner. She was planning to give herself to Emo and help him reach divine body and then search for opportunity to reach Tao essence. Now that Emo said this, she immediately understood that if she was willing, she could stay with Emo forever. Of course I'm willing. There are so many opportunities for reaching Tao essence here. I don't want to leave. Zhen Bingyu answered in surprise and joy. Emo knew Zhen Bingyu's character. If she didn't want to stay here, she wouldn't stay even if there was primordial essence opportunity. She said this just to give herself an excuse to stay. Emo, Before she finished, Emo stopped her and pulled her into his arms. We'll wait till you reach Tao essence. Then I will take you to see Luo Ying. Zhen Bingyu suddenly lost her Tao heart. She felt she was shaky and soft. Emo felt some fire too, but he let go of Zhen Bingyu. He thought of Luo Ying, Qingxue and Song Yangzhu. Sensing this, Zhen Bingyu cooled down too. I want to help you reach divine body. For the first time, Zhen Bingyu felt her face was burning. Before, she could be naked in front of Emo and not feel like this. When she told Emo she wanted to make love to him, she didn't feel worried like this. Emo felt her hair and said, I know. I've already reached divine body under this opportunity. Zhen Bingyu looked at Emo in disbelief. Emo didn't use the entire Chaos Blue read, but he could still reach divine body? After a long while, she breathed easy, so close. What was so close? Emo immediately asked. Zhen Bingyu smiled. When you come with me to the place we divided the Chaos Blue read, I will tell you. You can go forge your formation flags. I'm going to prepare for learning Tao essence. Then, Zhen Bingyu ignored Emo and left. Emo looked at her figure and really didn't understand what she meant by so close. Shadowless and small ginseng weren't nearly as fast as Emo controlling the ship, but MOU boat's level was too high. In just 2 years, they came to the divine Tao realm harbor. Shadowless and them stayed in the Golden Page world. Emo took Qi Wanqing and Mu Xiaoyun out of the boat. Emo looked at the messy and chaotic realm protection formation inside. Any race would be able to come and go as they please. There wouldn't even be a warning. But Emo knew that it was impossible to set up realm protection formation before he was primordial essence divine emperor. He didn't know if Zhu Wuheng saved Juya. If Juya was saved, then it would be unreasonable if he didn't even help with formation. Immortal friends stop. As soon as Emo and them landed on the divine Tao realm land, a Tao molding divine emperor and 2 immortal emperors landed. Emo nodded. Although the realm protection formation wasn't set up, Luo Qinghe and them were rather careful with the guarding of the place. Sect leader is back. A joyful voice sounded. A Tao actualization divine emperor crossed over. The tens of people behind him also came. Emo knew this Tao actualization divine emperor. Emo didn't know his name, but Emo knew he came from the Void Marketplace. Hearing the divine Tao sect leader was back, all the immortals from the harbor came over wanting to see who this legendary sect leader was. Sect leader? I'll message the vice sect leaders and tell them to come over? The Tao actualization divine emperor said excitedly. Emo waved his hand. No need. I'm gonna see how well the divine Tao sect is doing. When I come back here again, I will be setting up realm protection formation. The divine Tao sect was in the center of the divine Tao realm. It was closer to the harbor. The divine Tao realm was extremely huge. The distance was still immense. So, the divine Tao sect set up a teleportation formation to the harbor. However, Emo didn't take the teleportation formation. With his current power, the entire divine Tao realm was under his spirit sense. He used a simple transmission and was at the entrance to the divine Tao realm. The divine Tao sect looked grand. The dense god spirit chi and powerful look made Yemo very happy. Luo Qinghe and them worked hard on the sect indeed. Yemo's spirit sense scanned casually in the sect and knew there were at least tens of thousands of sect members. This wasn't too big, but to be able to do this in 1,000 years was very amazing. He didn't leave behind many resources before, it wasn't even one corner of his current assets. The divine Dao realm was also deprived of resources. Luo Qinghe and them definitely worked very hard to make the divine Dao realm look like this. Now, they finally got news that Yemo came back. The sect doors were immediately opened and everyone came out. Sect leader Luo Qinghe, Qin Xuanji and them were Dao Essence Divine Emperor, but they were still extremely excited. Seeing Luo Qinghe and them still at Dao Essence primary stage and just stabilizing their cultivation level, Yemo knew they lacked cultivation resources. They didn't leave the divine Dao realm for the sect, otherwise, their power would at the very least be stabled. Yemo Xiaoyun. As soon as Yemo heard this, Mu Xiaoyun charged over in surprise and joy. Master, martial sister Biyue. Yemo saw Lan Qilan and Luo Biyue. He didn't expect they were in the sect too. Xiaoyun, we're members of the divine Dao sect now. Lan Qilan said excitedly. She didn't have enough power to leave the divine Dao realm, and the divine Dao realm was deprived of resources. Luckily, the divine Dao sect dominantly rose up. They joined divine Dao sect without hesitation. Only after joining did they realize the sect leader was Yemo Luo Qinghe and them just built divine Dao sect as Yemo and wanted. As for repairing the divine Dao realm, they still needed to wait for Yemo come back. They didn't expect this wait was more than 1,000 years. Luckily, Yemo finally came back. Let's go in and talk. Yemo knew that the divine Dao sect was very popular now, but if they couldn't repair the divine Dao realm, the divine Dao sect would stop here and might even decline. Your Eternity Divine Emperor? When Yemo told them his title was Eternity, almost everyone in the meeting palace got up in shock. Yemo's words were too shocking. When an immortal reached Immortal King, they would get a title. All these titles came from the Immortal King tablet. Even though the divine Dao realm was broken, it still had an Immortal King tablet. Never has anyone gotten the title Eternity. This title meant that even if the universe was destroyed, this person would still exist. If one couldn't handle this title, he would definitely die under divine damnation. Sect leader, your title. Qin Xuanji was the person who knew about how to repair the divine Dao realm and knew that Eternity Divine Emperor was needed to repair the divine Dao realm. She immediately guessed if Yemo gave himself this title to repair the divine Dao realm. Yemo knew what she thought and said, I got my title from the Title King tablet of the Immortal Realm. Don't worry everyone. This time I got the Chaos Tree Heart and Abstruse Yellow Chi. I plan to divide some abstruse yellow chi for everyone to reach Primordial Essence Divine Emperor in the future. I'll use the rest along with Chaos Tree Heart to repair the life force of the divine Dao realm. Everyone's eyes immediately lit up. Luo Qinghe stood up in excitement. His lifelong goal had been to repair the divine Dao realm. The two news Yemo brought was too shocking. Su Feng said excitedly, Sect leader, we need Primordial Essence Divine Emperor to repair the divine Dao realm. Should we invite Zhu Ye Qianbei? Yemo was Eternity Divine Emperor, but he wasn't Primordial Essence Divine Emperor. Zhu Ye came. Yemo heard this and immediately asked. Yes, Zhu Ye Qianbei came with Zhu Wuheng saying they owed you a favor to guard the divine Dao realm for 100 years. After staying at the divine Dao realm for 100 years, they disappeared. Shang Mu quickly said. He reached Dao Essence on the way from Void Marketplace to Divine Dao Realm. Qin Xuanji said in contempt, this person is extremely selfish. He said he would protect for 100 years, but he just went into solitary cultivation for 100 years. He didn't do anything. However, his son Zhu Wuheng wanted to stay longer but was dragged away by that old guy. Inviting such Primordial Essence Divine Emperor is just wasting food. This guy is far worse than Guang Yuan Palace Qiao He. Yemo was also extremely unhappy with Zhuya. This guy was a human Primordial Essence Divine Emperor. Was it that hard to help build a realm protection formation? If he knew Zhuya was such person, he would never agree to Zhu Wuheng's conditions. Qiao He went back? Yemo asked. He had no guilt killing Fengguang, but that would mean he had enmity with Xiao He now. Yes, immortal friend Xiao left after 100 years. Emo nodded. I'm only one line from Primordial Essence Divine Emperor, but I'm not scared of any Primordial Essence Divine Emperors now. And I can set up Realm Protection Formation. Before they could rejoice, Emo said again, and I also found where the World Mountain is. After I repair the Divine Tao Realm, I'll go see if I can get the World Mountain and repair the Realm Meridian. This time, it wasn't just joyful news now. When they first gathered together to form the Divine Tao sect, they wanted to repair the Divine Tao Realm and was full of hot blood. However, everyone was very calm and knew it wasn't simple. No condition for repairing the realm was simple, but now, Emo said he could pretty much do all of it. I thought this was just to help gather the popularity of the human race. I didn't expect the realm could really be repaired. Qin Xuanji said shakily. When she first brought the news back to Divine Tao Realm, she knew there was very little chance of happening. But now, Emo brought back hope. Extremely big hope. The group discussed some specifics about repairing the Divine Tao Realm and growing the Divine Tao sect. Emo took out most of what he got to the Divine Tao sect and these Tao Essence Divine Emperors. He was going to repair the realm, he would have to leave to them for the growing of the sect. Before he repaired the Divine Tao Realm, Emo needed to go somewhere. Qi Wanqing and Mu Xiaoyun stayed in the Divine Tao sect. They needed to cultivate and couldn't follow Emo. Emo gave the two a jade card. With this, they could go into his golden page world at any time. God Necropolis Domain. Emo came here first. The God Necropolis Domain was under his spirit sense, but his spirit sense couldn't penetrate in. He was going to repair the Divine Tao Realm, so he wasn't going to allow this block to stay outside. The first time he went in here, he almost died to the life-crippling bridge. This was his second time coming here, but the God Necropolis Domain had no dangers to him at all now. In just a few steps, Emo came before the life-crippling bridge. There were still more than 10 divine emperors here learning God art. Emo's spirit sense scanned across the entire God Necropolis Domain and found there were tens of people inside but not a single familiar face. Gong Yang wasn't here. Kong Chengtian wasn't here. As for that white-faced scholar who had feud with him, he wasn't here too. When Emo's spirit sense scanned to a dried river, he finally saw a familiar person. It was a middle-aged woman, Tao Actualization Gan Shintong. However, she was heavily injured. Emo walked to her in one step. Gan Shintong got up in shock, but when she saw it was Emo, she said in surprise, "Brother Yi, you're still in here?" She thought Emo hadn't left as well. Emo smiled. "I went out and came back in." "What?" Gan Shintong said, and then she realized Emo was joking with her. How could one come back in the God Necropolis Domain after going out? No matter how strong Emo was, he wouldn't be able to do this unless he was Primordial Essence Divine Emperor. Emo knew Gan Shintong didn't believe him, so he said, "Sister Shintong, I've reached Primordial Essence Divine Emperor. I've built a sect in the Divine Tao Realm called Divine Tao Sect, and I want to repair the Divine Tao Realm. The God Necropolis Domain is a part of the Divine Tao Realm, so I came in to see the situation." Instead of explaining, he might as well just say he was Primordial Essence Divine Emperor. Hearing this, Gan Shintong was shocked, but she believed him. However, she didn't dare to call Emo brother. Emo learned from Gan Shintong that a few hundred years ago, some Tao Actualization wanted to cross the life-crippling bridge and just disappeared. Hearing this, Emo sighed. Even at Tao Actualization, you can disappear with one slight mistake. Knowing Gan Shintong wanted to go out, Emo tore open the restriction of God Necropolis Domain and sent her out. At the same time, he sound transmissioned in the God Necropolis Domain that the God Necropolis Domain would be closed. Everyone inside would be teleported out. Then Emo just grabbed everyone out. He thought that if there was nothing on and on the other side of the life-crippling bridge, he would fuse the God Necropolis Domain and Divine Tao Realm. If there was some strange things, he would change here into a secret realm. The Divine Tao Realm was broken and had very little secret realms. This would only benefit the Divine Tao Realm. After everyone went out, Emo stepped on the life-crippling bridge for the second time. When he first got on the bridge, his soul was almost blown away by the bleak wind here. Under the guidance of Jishi, He stood on the line and walked along the wall to survive. This time, the bleak wind automatically disappeared outside his realm domain. EMO waved out a purple flame and the bridge immediately cleared up. The bleak wind was instantly melted. The bridge before him cleared up. A simple bridge made with a few bamboo strands appeared before Yemo. Yemo saw Gongyang and who sat at the center of the bridge. However, his chi was extremely faint. Gongyang and probably knew that he couldn't pass the bridge, so he sat down. With Yemo's current cultivation level and formation skills, he could tell this bridge was just an illusion formation. This illusion formation was set up with very high-level means. There was a teleportation hole below the bridge. Yemo scanned his spirit sense in and knew it was a teleportation formation. Based on the chi, it was probably connected to the nether realm. If one fell off the bridge, their soul would be swept away by the illusion formation. Their soul would be teleported through the black hole onto the samsara bridge. Why did someone set up an illusion formation here? Below the bridge was a real river, but it was covered by the illusion formation and seemed very eerie. The bleak chi that blew away souls were real. Yemo released little blue and swept over. Instantly, all the bleak chi were burned clean. With this, the illusion formation was broken. Gongyang and suddenly woke up. He got up and then saw Yemo. What is this? Your immortal friend Yi? How did you get behind me? Gongyang and looked at Yemo in surprise. Yemo took out a pill and gave it to Gongyang. An immortal friend. Gongyang, your formation is damaged. Eat this pill first and I'll send you out. This is just an illusion formation, it's not really life-crippling bridge. Gongyang and ate the pill and subconsciously asked, illusion formation? Wait. How did you get behind me, immortal friend Yi? What pill did you just give me? Gongyang and spent more than 1,000 years defending against the Yin wind and Qi. His brain was a little stale. He felt his spirit sense and God essence rapidly recover. Even his life force started to recover. Immediately, he knew Yemo's God pill wasn't simple. Immortal friend Gongyang, I've vindicated primordial essence. Now, I'm going to repair the divine Tao realm, so I came to the God Necropolis domain to see what's going on here. How about I send you out now? Yemo could only explain again. Immortal friend Yi, you're already primordial essence divine emperor. Gongyang and dazed. This Yemo was weaker than before, but now he reached primordial essence divine emperor. This change was too fast. Yemo knew Gongyang and wouldn't be able to process things quickly. He tore open the restriction here and set Gongyang and out. When Gongyang and calmed down, he would know what happened. Next, Yemo came to the other side of the bridge. He waved a few times and smashed tens of formation flags. Then, a lush mountain range with extremely dense God Spirit Chi appeared. There were all sorts of immortal spirit herbs, God Spirit herbs, and even fake Chaos Spirit herbs. Yemo even saw many types of Tao fruits. There were also countless restrictions, formation, and ferocious beasts here. Ordinary divine emperors wouldn't even be able to scan their spirit sense out. This was a protected ground that hadn't been destroyed. Yemo was very shocked. He didn't know why someone set up an illusion formation here to protect this place. Yemo walked to the end and saw a tablet. He immediately realized what happened. The tablet wrote that the divine Tao realm was being destroyed. The human race would have no chance of having another primordial essence divine emperor. The immortal goddess sacred sect Saint Qing sealed the only remaining secret realm of the divine Tao realm. If someone could pass the life-crippling bridge, they would be able to find the chance to vindicate primordial essence. Once reaching primordial essence, he must take on the responsibility of bringing prosperity to the divine Tao realm. Looking at this, Yemo suddenly felt respect. He heard that the reason the divine Tao realm was able to remain was because Saint Qing sacrificed her life. She thought this far ahead and left behind a place like the God Necropolis domain. There were many God art marks outside. If one was talented enough, it wasn't impossible to reach her secret realm. Yet all these years, no one was able to cross the bridge. Even Yemo came here after reaching primordial essence level. No wonder Jishi knew about how to cross the bridge. Saint Qing left behind the secret realm but still hoped that it would be someone from the immortal goddess sacred sect to cross the bridge. Regardless, what Saint Qing did was worthy of respect. Although the selection of the life-crippling bridge was too harsh, it wouldn't be able to find a truly insane person otherwise. Emo didn't touch the things inside the secret realm. Since she could leave these things to save the human race, he could leave what was inside for others. Even if the divine Tao realm was repaired, it would need some secret realms to recover power. The God Necropolis domain was the best place. Plus, with what he had now, he really didn't need these things. However, there was no need for the life-crippling bridge. There were too little chances of crossing it. Secret realms were to give people fortunes, not to end their lives. Emo took away the tablet and reset some restriction and formation. This place will be a cultivation secret realm of the divine Tao realm in the future. After setting up the secret realm, Emo came out of the God Necropolis domain, but he didn't leave. He had decided to repair the divine Tao realm life force here and then search for the world mountain. Emo shot abstruse yellow chi into the realm, and Emo turned the chaos tree heart into life force. As the abstruse yellow chi fused into the broken realm, countless huge ravines, broken mountain ranges, dried rivers and seas started to recover, with Emo using his grand power to fuse the chaos tree heart in. At this moment, people in the divine Tao realm saw this. Facing such unprecedented greatness, they all rushed out of their residence and solitary cultivation grounds. Immortals who searched for God's spirit herbs stopped. Immortals who traded stopped. Immortals who fought, discussed, and cultivated all stopped. They flew into the sky and looked excitedly as the divine Tao realm was slowly repaired. Some extremely old divine emperors knelt on the ground praying for the divine Tao realm. Some weaker cultivation-level people saw divine emperors kneel on the ground, and so they all knelt too, praying for the divine Tao realm. This is divine Tao sect starting to repair the divine Tao realm. The divine Tao sect was using the name to take over the divine Tao realm. I didn't expect they really are repairing the realm. It's the sect leader of the divine Tao sect coming back. The divine Tao sect members said that as soon as their sect leader came back, the divine Tao sect would begin repairing the divine Tao realm. The human race will finally prosper. The fortune of the divine Tao realm has come back. Luckily, our human race has a primordial essence powerful being like divine Tao sect leader. Otherwise, we will forever cower in the divine Tao realm. Excited discussions sounded in every corner of the divine Tao realm. What excited them more was that the divine Tao realm wasn't just repairing. Every corner was emitting life force. This was injecting new life force into the divine Tao realm. Emo stood above the God Necropolis domain and felt quite tough. Even with the chaos tree giving him life force, he felt he couldn't handle this. He was no weaker than any primordial essence divine emperor, and even stronger than them. No primordial essence divine emperor could compare with his sea of consciousness, but repairing the divine Tao realm was no small matter. If he didn't have chaos tree and all these Tao fruits, he wouldn't be able to hold on anymore. When inserted all of the life force of the chaos tree heart as well as the abstruse yellow chi into the divine Tao realm, he felt his soul shiver. The life force of the divine Tao realm paused. Emo sighed. There wasn't enough life force in the chaos tree heart. Couldn't completely recover the life force of the divine Tao realm. He knew that if he took out the chaos tree, the divine Tao realm's life force would be completely repaired, but he really couldn't let go of it. Emo scanned his spirit sense out. When he saw countless divine emperors and immortals kneel on the ground praying for the divine Tao realm to be repaired, he suddenly understood what Saint Qing felt. Despite feeling what Saint Qing felt, Emo still hesitated. He didn't know if he should give up the chaos tree. It was too important to him. If it wasn't for the chaos tree at the Guangyuan Palace, he would have died. Emo hesitated for a long while and eventually released the chaos tree. Repairing the divine Tao realm wasn't just important for the immortals in here but also to him. He had the golden page world, bitter bamboo and yellow middle plum. He had too much good things all to himself. If he still wasn't willing to give out the chaos tree and coldly watch as the divine Tao realm stayed broken, he would be too greedy. He started the divine Tao sect, and if he wasn't willing to let go of the chaos tree, it would be a huge irony. Thinking about this, Emo didn't hesitate anymore. The chaos tree had once again grew to a huge tree of 1 km tall under the nourishment of chaos chi. As soon as Emo released the chaos tree, Its endless life force expanded out with Yemo's god art and swept across the entire divine Tao realm. Its chaos life force? It really is chaos life force. The divine Tao realm is going to be repaired. The chaos life force of Chaos Tree instantly swept across the entire divine Tao realm. Some people didn't even need to cultivate, and they were growing stronger. At this moment, everyone knelt towards divine Tao sect. They realized that even if this chaos life force wasn't the Chaos Tree, it was something on par with it. Since the divine Tao sect even took out such treasure, it meant that they truly wanted to repair the divine Tao realm. At this moment, on the largest square of the divine Tao sect, all sect members knelt on the ground. Even the vice sect leaders knelt on the ground. In the center of the square was an extremely huge altar. They were worshipping Heaven Tao, praying for the divine Tao realm. All the sect members knew that their sect leader was repairing the divine Tao realm. It's the Qi of Chaos Tree. When Yemo took out Chaos Tree, Luo Qinghe, Qin Xuanji and them instantly felt it. They were shaking with excitement. Their spirit sense couldn't see where Yemo was, but they knew it was definitely Yemo who took out the Chaos Tree. At this moment, they were all touched. Yemo was even willing to take out the Chaos Tree. Everyone here worked hard to repair the divine Tao realm, but if they had the Chaos Tree, would they be willing to take it out? Sect leader, I rejoice that I believed you, Qin Xuanji murmured. At this moment, Yemo was her god. It's Chaos Tree. Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect Ji Shi looked at the direction of Divine Tao Sect and murmured. When she heard Yemo came back, she was planning to go to Divine Tao Sect. Then, she felt the Divine Tao realm being repaired. The only person who could do this was Yemo. Now that Yemo even took out the Chaos Tree, she felt ashamed. Not everyone thanked the direction of Divine Tao Sect. Gongyang and Ganshintong and the Divine Emperors teleported out from the God Necropolis domain, thanked piously towards the God Necropolis domain. They knew Yemo was still in there. At this moment, the Divine Tao realm was in peace and harmony. There was no noisy sounds. Everyone was waiting for the Divine Tao Broken Realm to return to Divine Tao Realm. At this moment, Yemo was immersed in the Chaos Tree, Divine Tao Realm, World Law, God Art Law. Perhaps he had fused into the Divine Tao Realm with the Chaos Tree. Yemo caught countless chaotic world laws. He felt these messy laws weren't suitable for the current Divine Tao Realm. At this moment, he started to immerse in these laws and rebuild the entire world law of the Divine Tao Realm. Every time he saw a law he wasn't too clear on, he would subconsciously eat a yellow middle plum. The yellow middle plums were turned into word laws. Yemo mastered these laws and then fused them into the Divine Tao Realm. After an unknown amount of time, Yemo suddenly felt his sea of consciousness rumble again. Extremely clear Tao laws and laws derived from world laws. It was as though it was grown in his will. At the same time, endless God essence filled his body. Yemo knew he was no longer half primordial essence. A clear great Tao wave circulated around him. The entire universe void was in his will. Yemo knew that he only needed to lift a hand to turn a realm into nothing. Yemo suddenly opened his eyes. His spirit sense easily pierced many realms. He even saw the immortal realm. This is the power of primordial essence, Divine Emperor? Yemo murmured. He knew he had truly vindicated primordial essence Tao. Such powerful feeling. If he faced Feng Guang and them ganging up on him, he could instantly kill those five. He felt his primordial essence compared to the primordial essence of other primordial essence Divine Emperors were heavens apart. He didn't use a single God crystals reaching primordial essence. All of the energy came from the Divine Tao realm giving back to him. Yemo took back his spirit sense and subconsciously waved his hand. The messy world laws were easily repaired. These world laws were also imprinted in his brain. He didn't even use Spirit Will 9 transformations and it reached Nineth transformation. He didn't need to try a 9 great primordial God runes formed that could destroy everything. Heaven Flame 9 Suns. When you reach this state, you would never have to be confused about things below that state. Yemo truly understood the meaning of primordial essence now. He let go of the Chaos Tree and opened his heart. Now he learned everything. Emo didn't try samsara god art, but he felt his samsara god art could easily make a primordial essence divine emperor go into samsara. Power was sometimes just one thin layer. When you didn't even notice, you've already broken through it. And now, power was in your hands. Emo's spirit sense scanned out. The divine Tao realm appeared completely repaired. Life force oozed out. The disappeared mountain ranges, God spirit herb and landscape reformed. It was as though he walked into a new world. However, Emo knew this was just the surface. He only repaired a part of the divine Tao realm. The realm meridian and foundation hasn't been repaired. If he wanted the divine Tao realm to be this pretty forever, then he would need to repair the realm meridian and foundation. To do this, he needed to find World Mountain. Thinking about the chaos tree he gave up, he suddenly felt sad. He wanted to turn around and take the withered chaos tree. However, he found in surprise and joy that the chaos tree instantly sprouted up in green. Life force and world laws surged out of the divine Tao realm. These life force and laws entered the chaos tree. The chaos tree visibly grew large. 3 meters, 6 meters, 30 meters, 33 meters, the life force being returned was definitely chaos life force. However, it was denser, greater, and more eternal than the life force chaos tree gave out. The chaos life force with primordial chaos chi was the return gift of the divine Tao realm. Even though Emo was a primordial essence divine emperor, he was struck by this huge surprise. Emo instantly realized where the life force came from. Some of it came from the luck of the human race, some of it came from the previous body of the chaos tree. The chaos tree was broken in the divine Tao realm and its life force dispersed here but didn't disappear. Now that he brought chaos tree here to repair the divine Tao realm, the chaos tree life force came back. This was returning things to its original owner. This was the generous return gift of the divine Tao realm. Everything had spirit, much less the powerful divine Tao realm. 300 meters. 3 kilometers. The chaos tree grew to 30 kilometers before stopping. The extremely dense life force made all the immortals in the divine Tao realm feel endless fortune. Emo put the tree away and sighed. He didn't know how tall the original tree was. This was only some remaining life force, and it made his chaos tree grow to 30 kilometers. At this moment, countless immortals were roaring in excitement. At this moment, they felt the world laws become complete. They sensed the divine damnation. They felt new learnings towards their god art. They felt their cultivation level progress. They felt the direction of their Tao. Suddenly, a clear voice sounded in the void. Immortal friends of divine Tao realm. I'm the divine Tao sect leader Emo. The divine Tao broken realm is repaired. From today it will be changed to divine Tao realm. Because the divine Tao realm is just repaired and some parts of the realm meridian isn't completely repaired, I need to leave the divine Tao realm and find more materials. I hope immortal friends won't fight in the divine Tao realm to prevent breaking our divine Tao realm meridian. 100 years later, other races will come to the divine Tao realm for trouble. In ancient times, the divine Tao realm human race was the strongest race. How can we keep letting those foreign races stand on top of us? I hope immortal friends will get stronger in this 100 years and not allow foreign races to do as they please in the divine Tao realm. In order to prevent our divine Tao realm not falling behind other realms, I've kept God Necropolis domain as a secret realm. I've removed the life-crippling bridge. It won't be dangerous life before, but there will still be some dangers. There are all sorts of restrictions inside as well as some ferocious beasts. This secret realm will be open 10 years later to first step Tao Vindication Divine Emperors. This secret realm is left by immortal goddess sacred sect Saint Qing. She sacrificed her life for the divine Tao realm. I hope all immortal friends who enter the secret realm remembers this. If anyone finds people damaging the divine Tao realm, you can report to the divine Tao sect. Emo's voice pierced into the ear of every immortal. When his voice disappeared, the countless immortals of the divine Tao realm all called for his name. Emo, sect leader of divine Tao sect, repaired the divine Tao realm. He brought hope to the human race. Whoever goes against sect leader Ye's words is the enemy of the entire divine Tao realm. Yes, whoever dares to disobey sect leader Yi, no divine emperor Yi will be our enemy. Such voices could be heard at every corner of the Divine Tao sect. Countless people had made oaths to courageously slay whichever race dared to come to the Divine Tao realm. At this moment, the Divine Tao sect and Yi Mo's authority and status reached the climax. At the same time, the human race of the Divine Tao realm had a source to be united around. One man amongst the countless crowd murmured, "Yi Mo, Yan Zhoutian, admit defeat. I can't compete against you. Or perhaps no one can compete against you. Funny how that Dongfang Wang dares to say he's peerless." "Thank you, sect leader Yi." Almost everyone in the Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect thanked Yi Mo. Even though Yi Mo started trouble at the Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect, he didn't hide the fact that the secret realm was left by Saint Qing. Yi Mo was very happy with the state of Divine Tao realm now. It was repaired and the human race were united in an unprecedented way. Yi Mo's spirit sense broke through realms and landed at Mou Immortal Sect. He saw Xianxia, Luo Ying Yi Mo. At this moment he was so excited that he almost went back immediately. But Yi Mo resisted the urge. He took back his spirit sense. He was afraid he wouldn't be able to resist it. Even if he was to see them, he would need to repair the Divine Tao realm protection formation first. Outside the Divine Tao realm, Yi Mo started to set up all sorts of formations. Yi Mo sent out formation flags and God Spirit ranges. The God Spirit range only directed God Spirit range. The formation didn't need this God Spirit range to run. The God Spirit source needed by the realm formation were mostly devoured from the void. Yi Mo was primordial essence Divine Emperor, and because he repaired the Divine Tao realm and learned countless world laws, he mastered countless God art laws. It was extremely hard to find another primordial essence Divine Emperor who had mastery over this many laws and world laws. Yi Mo was a top formation grandmaster too. He didn't need anyone to help to perfect the realm protection formation. However, even as powerful as Yi Mo, this wasn't done in a short while. Yi Mo was grateful that all those primordial essence Divine Emperors attacked him. Without them, he wouldn't have all these materials. A month later, Yi Mo completely set up the Divine Tao realm protection formation. Then, he breathed easy and returned to the Divine Tao sect. He was going to leave the Divine Tao realm to the Immortal realm. He needed to tell Luo Qinghe and them first. Plus, he needed to hand the controlling formation flags to Luo Qinghe and them. Knowing Yi Mo was back, Luo Qinghe and them greeted him with overwhelming excitement. Even Qi Wanqing came to Yi Mo not wanting to cultivate. "Sect leader, I really didn't expect the Divine Tao realm could be repaired to this state. I thought it would take hundreds of thousands or even millions of years to repair the Divine Tao realm." Qin Xuanji was the most excited. At this moment, she was willing to do anything for Yi Mo. Yi Mo was in a good mood too. After everyone calmed down, Yi Mo said, "The Divine Tao realm is repaired, but I still need to find materials to repair the realm meridian as quickly as possible. I also need to tell you guys, I've repaired the realm formation. It's the best formation. I've been to the dragon race and their realm formation can't compete with ours at all." This caused some more ruckus. Completing the realm formation was no small matter. This meant that the Divine Tao realm could protect themselves and no race could sneak in the Divine Tao realm. Yi Mo gave Jade Slip and formation flags of the realm formation to Luo Qinghe and them. Just when he was about to leave, his eyes landed on a Tao molding Divine Emperor. Seeing this, the Tao molding Divine Emperor felt cold. He even suspected if their sect leader was the Yi Mo of the Immortal realm. "You cultivated spirit will 9 transformations?" Yi Mo suddenly asked. This Tao molding Divine Emperor quickly bowed, "Yes, sect leader. This was taught by me when Juya Qianbei went past the Immortal realm." Yi Mo nodded, "Your spirit sense feels familiar. You're probably Immortal realm Low Heaven Domain Chaos Star realm Mu Wushuang, right? I didn't expect you recovered and came to the Divine Tao realm." Mu Wushuang's mind was blown. He didn't expect this Yi Mo was really the Yi Mo he heard before. That little girl appeared before his mind. Sister Bingyu said, "My dad is Yi Mo. You want to kill my dad with your little power? Keep dreaming." Thinking about this, Mu Wushuang sweated cold. He said he would kill Yi Mo before, but now Yi Mo was standing before him and could kill him with one finger. Just how ignorant was he when he said this? Yes, Wan Bei is Mu Wushuang. Mu Wushuang answered shakily. When he came to the Divine Tao realm, he joined the Divine Tao sect and vindicated Tao here. Emo frowned. You seem to be scared of me? Mu Wushuang didn't dare to hide it, and quickly told him about his encounter with Zhen Bingyu and Yimo. At the same time, he said, Wushuang was ignorant, please punish me, sect leader. Zhen Bingyu was in solitary cultivation for preparation for Tao essence. Otherwise, Yimo would want to call her out and let Mu Wushuang see. Even Zhen Bingyu was countless times stronger than him. Mu Wushuang was cocky, but he didn't do anything to Zhen Bingyu and Yimo. Instead, he told them an immortal marrow pond. Yimo didn't plan to punish Mu Wushuang. He just said, luckily you didn't harm Bingyu and Yimo. In fact, even Bingyu is stronger than you now. You know why you were ambushed by Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor, before? It's because you're too arrogant. No matter when, never think you're the strongest. Yes. Thank you for your teachings, sect leader. Mu Wushuang rejoiced that he didn't do anything to Yimo and Zhen Bingyu. He also felt that he didn't act well. He came to the Divine Tao realm wanting to find Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor, for revenge, but he didn't find Wei Feng. Go and cultivate. By the way, there's someone you know called Hong Ling. She's still in the MOU Immortal sect. Emo said casually. Mu Wushuang was shocked. Hong Ling was still alive? Was he there too? At this moment, he regretted coming to the Divine Tao realm so quickly.